morning, sports fans, and welcome to The Defining Moment, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is me, Boy Larry, bringing it to you here on a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019, and guess what? It's another wall-to-wall, action-packed edition of The Defining Moment coming to you this morning. And my oh my, do we have so much to get on into. I mean, yesterday's first episode of season 6 of 3 and I was absolutely incredible. Taking a bite, just a small little bite out of the AFC. But AFC week is officially underway, and AFC West Day is today. Oh, it's going to be good. 4 teams down, 28 to go. But we can't forget about all the other sports now, because we have plenty more that went on this past weekend. And it was absolutely awesome, all right? So, Braves and Nationals have one to remember. This is one awesome series. They split this sucker. Braves are looking good. I mean, seriously, that's what you can say right now. All right, next up, how about some Iowa 300 action? Joseph Newgarden does it again. 13th career victory, and he will take the checkered plaque for the 4th time this season. I think we have a candidate to possibly win it this year. We have a few more races to go. Will he get it done? We shall see. Also, in NASCAR, Kevin Harvick, first checkered flag of the season, but hey, it's all right. He got it. He's ready to rock and roll. And what a pretty good race in New Hampshire for the Foxwoods 301. Also, Mile High Nats, Steve Torrence does it again. Can we get an applause for this man? I mean, dominating the top fuel category. Just such an incredible driver. And you gotta love it, man. Great stuff there. Also, Tommy Johnson Jr. in Funny Car, Greg Anderson in Pro Stock. Oh, there's those semi-cars again. And Andrew Hines in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Also, we have some IMSA news to get on into. We had a race past weekend. We'll get to that. Also, lots of derbies in the MLS this week. How about El Tráfico and my beloved LA Galaxy, Zlatan Ibrahimovic will score not 1, not 2, but 3. Yes! Hat trick for the legend. I'm loving it. Defeating LAFC. Also, we have the Cascadia Cup. I mean, I don't necessarily call it that, but hey, that's what it is. Portland Timbers and Seattle Sounders FC. Portland doing their thing up in Seattle. Talk about a great matchup there. Also, the African Nations Cup. Algeria wins their first one since 1990 and their second one ever, so congratulations to them. Lots of action in the ICC. Talking WNBA. Talking National Pro Fast Pitch. We have a no-hitter in the first loss of the season for the USSF Pride at home. What? And we're already in week 7? What? Oh, it's going to be good, y'all. Also, this little fight this weekend, Manny Pacquiao, 40 years old, gets it done. Oh, yes. You are tuned in live to The Defining Moment right here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, sports fans. My gosh, it feels like forever since I've done this show, since I've just been doing all these interviews, recording for 3 and Out, and it's just crazy. But I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely loving it. We're able to get the show done, and I have got some help now, and I'm so happy to have this guy aboard. He'll be helping me, not just with these shows right now, but he is the official co-host of The Defining Moment. Glad to have him aboard, just because the load is going to be ridiculous in the fall. Glad to have this guy here, and it's super cool to have, a co-host for this show to kind of bounce things off each other. I mean, I think all of you have definitely seen me been able to cover 3 hours by myself, but man, does it get boring sometimes. I mean, it doesn't really get boring, but I mean, sometimes you can get like, it's a little much, and then on top of that, I got 3 and Out College Edition coming up, and 3 and Out all season long, so all of that going on, juggling a master's degree, starting my master's coming up in September, coaching varsity football, playing semi-pro football myself, all of that going on. I mean, training, I guess all kinds of craziness. Well, guess what? I got a co-host, and I'm glad to have him here, y'all. So, he was with me last week, and I think the week before that a couple times. I think he was a guest on here before. He was on, and then he's co-hosted the show with me, I believe, once or twice now. But glad to have him here. And, yeah, man, certainly glad to have a host here. By the way, we will be switching up, coming up in a few weeks' time when we start doing Wednesdays. I will tell you kind of when. I believe we agreed on Wednesday nights, but we will, we'll get that to you. I think it's going to be Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit late, but that's why it's a podcast, because you can also listen to it live, you can also listen to the recording, so be about a 2-hour show, kind of like today will be about a 2-hour show, so we're going to, kind of shorten some things up, but get to the big points, the nitty-gritty, have some fun with it. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming my guest from kind of just down the road from me. I mean, it's a ways away, but hey, it's not that far away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming my official co-host of The Defining Moment, student at Long Beach State University. He's a 49er, y'all. And, of course, all-around sports fan, man. This guy writes for The Pilot. He's just, quite the sports fan. Glad to have him aboard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Defining Moment on this beautiful Tuesday morning. It is July 23rd, 2019, and I am glad to be here on this episode of The Defining Moment with you, Larry. Big shout out to your work today and for all of IE Sports Radio.
Oh, man. Well, thank you very much. Awesome introduction there for me. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mr. Taryn. And bouncing it right back to you, man. Thanks again for being a part of this today. Hey, I got double duty today doing 3 and Out coming up at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. But you actually got some double duty as well, man, because in actually 11 hours, you're going to be right back on air for Bases Loaded with H-Town Blake Henley and Brandon Buckingham.
Oh, yeah. I've got double duty today, and, I'm really happy to be doing double duty. I mean, after we missed yesterday, but for good reason, we are back here today, and I'm glad to be doing The Defining Moment with you, and I'm glad to be doing Bases Loaded with Blake and Brandon later on today, and I'm really looking forward to today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about on this show and on Bases Loaded.
Oh, we certainly do, and it has been one crazy week in sports. I mean, hey, we talked about last week, Wimbledon. By the way, big shout-out to, I don't know if you were able to catch it yet, Mr. Taryn, but you should check it out, man. They did a really good show yesterday. The Season 1 premiere of First Serve with Calvin Vandergrift and Matt Owens. They did a really good job yesterday covering all tennis. They'll be back at it, I believe, not next week, but in 2 weeks' time. We have an interesting schedule with them. What they're going to be doing is throughout the season. So the entire season is going to be 11 months long. So it's going to be January through November. They're going to have their off season, basically just 1 month, kind of looking like looks kind of like the extra mile. Their season, but they'll be covering at the beginning. They'll have a show at the beginning, the end, the middle, and the end of every major tournament. So we're talking about the Australian Open in January. We are talking the French Open at the end of May. We are talking Wimbledon at the beginning, middle-ish of July. And the U.S. Open in September, end of August, beginning of September. And they'll be, once again, doing a show at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end of every one of those tournaments. So when they do that, they'll be covering those, and then they'll be going bi-weekly every other month in between those months. So sometimes you're going to be catching them 3 times a month. I think in May they're going to be on every Monday, but their usual spot will be, if they do at the beginning of if they do the beginning, middle, and end of the tournament, they're going to have, a day in the middle, maybe Fridays. But more than likely you're going to see them Mondays and Fridays. 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Great show there. Extremely knowledgeable tennis guys. And super cool to have a tennis show here on the network, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It definitely helps grow the sport of tennis, and it definitely helps grow our channel as well. So big shout-out to the host of First Serve. It was a really great episode, and to all you tennis fans, please tune into that show. You will not be disappointed. Matter of fact, to all sports fans, please tune into IE Sports Radio. You certainly will not be disappointed when you listen to our shows. I promise you.
I second that. I mean, I started this thing off 5 years, but hey, I will always say we, because no matter what, if it was just myself doing it, doesn't even matter. I'll tell you what, we all started this thing off. Amazing how what it's become, and yeah, I mean, we have something for everybody. I mean, Taryn, is that a pretty accurate statement? We have something for everybody.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Whether you're a basketball fan or a baseball fan or a football fan or a tennis fan, we got all sports lined up for you. So please, please, please do check out IE Sports Radio and all of our shows.
Absolutely. Check us out. Show us some love. And it is just... we're definitely honored to have you tune in and check us out. Right now, hey, it's 8 a.m. Pacific time, or 8:10 a.m. Pacific time. 11 a.m. Eastern time over there, so you may be close to lunch over there on the East Coast, or just tuning in the office, or, the shop, or wherever you're working at. And also over here, maybe the morning drive to work, or you might have just gotten to work. But hey, here we are, ready to deliver the latest in sports. So wherever you're listening from, we definitely appreciate it. You might be listening to the podcast version of this later on as well. So hey, we definitely appreciate you tuning in today. Well, this morning. My gosh, that's tonight. But this morning, and as you can see, I'm all out of whack right now. There's so many different things, so many different sports to get into, and so much of 3 and out and everything. But yeah. So with that said, real quick, might as well. We're on the NFL kick right now, so we can start things off with a little bit of NFL training camp today, because those are actually getting underway this week. I think one actually might be getting underway today or tomorrow, somewhere right around there. We can't spend too much time on it because, of course, we've got 3 and out. That's going to be, just bursting at the seams to give you all 32 teams. We covered 4 yesterday in the AFC North. Took care of the Steelers, Browns, Bengals, and Ravens, not necessarily in that order, but had 4 great guests. So big shout out to all of my guests yesterday. Mr. Chris Schisler for the Baltimore Ravens, Mr. Matt Hames for the Pittsburgh Steelers, KTO, Carson the Oracle, big-time YouTuber for the Cleveland Browns, very hopeful and happy and excited for his Browns, as I am this year for them, and of course, we had Captain Obvious. This guy's the real deal, man. Captain Obvious, Bengals captain, okay? Captain Obvious for the Bengals yesterday. He was the anchor of the show, the last one to go. But it was awesome to talk to all those gentlemen there and hear what they had to say about their teams, and also hear them bash each other's teams. That's always a pretty entertaining part of the show. But, even if there were some positive things to say, I mean, they definitely had their positives and negatives to say, I think, about not just their own teams, but the other teams as well, in our Stick It To 'em segment at the end of the show. But anyway, so today, of course, covering the AFC West, got my beloved Raiders, got Taryn's beloved Chargers, and we got, of course, the Chiefs, and we also can't forget the Broncos. So those 4 teams coming up today. I'll be talking to Miss Lori, for all of you Broncos fans out there who know Miss Lori. She's a longtime Broncos fan and a big-time listener of... a big-time listener of 3 and Out. She's been on the show for a couple of years now, so she's certainly quite the diehard Broncos fan. We got Micah Farias coming on today. He is another huge Chargers fan. Pretty cool, Taryn. You'll appreciate this, man. When I went to the game yesterday, big shout out to him and Miss Stephanie, by the way. I'll be shouting her out, Beauty and the Bolts, in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, incredible, man. I went to a Chargers-Raiders game, my very first Raiders game last year, and it was so awesome because when I met these people, the Bolts family, they're awesome. They welcomed me with open arms, even as a Raiders fan. And I'll tell you what, it was pretty sweet, man, because Micah has, no joke, man, this is so cool. He has a custom jersey, and do you want to know what the number is on front of it?
What's the number?
562.
Ooh, shout out to Long Beach. Shout out to Long Beach State. Yeah, shout out to the 562.
I mean, Taryn, is that not pretty sweet?
Yes, and there's actually a sports website that covers a lot of Long Beach sports called the 562. So big shout out to the 562 Long Beach. Shout out to Mike DeBascio and JJ Fiddler for their hard work in Long Beach. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. That was it's super, super, super cool. But big shout out to them as well. The 562, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know they existed, but that's awesome to hear. And hey, we all got to support each other, so that's really awesome. And yeah, Micah, of course, a resident of Long Beach, so super cool to see his jersey, the 562 jersey, and the powder blue Chargers jersey he has custom made. So anyway, so we're talking to them. Mr. Reed Black, recorded my interview with him a couple nights ago. For the Chiefs. Mr. Phil Jones will be joining me to talk some Raiders, and that's going to be it for today. But yeah, certainly going to be a great show. But with that said, all right, so let's go ahead and spend a few minutes on this. All right, man, so training camp's coming up here. Really, Taryn, who are you really excited to see this year and why?
I'm excited to see all the teams. I'm interested to see the Chargers, obviously, because they're my team. I'm also interested to see how the Browns will do, considering they had a good offseason, and I'm interested to see Baker Mayfield and how he'll perform.
Absolutely. We talked about the Browns yesterday, and I did pick them to win it. I picked them with an 11-5 or 10-6 record. Yeah, I think a lot of the other fans, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals all said there's too much drama to go around on that team where they just won't make it, or they'll kind of just fizzle out. But my gosh, this is one heck of a team who, if they can pull it together, they can be very exciting.
Oh yeah, I believe it. And with Odell Beckham Jr. on board, I think the Browns can actually turn it around, considering they proved last year that they can go from winless to having nearly a winning season, and it's just amazing to see how they're shaping up. And that division, the AFC East, is starting to become a really strong division, with Pittsburgh still going at it.
Oh, the AFC North, sorry.
Ravens, and then the Bengals are not to be slept on either. Especially with the new head coach, getting rid of Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, and that's about the AFC North, by the way. But you know what? The AFC
North, I'm sorry.
It's okay. The AFC East is actually pretty exciting itself, because Dolphins revamped. You know what? Can they? They've got Josh Rosen now. The Amish Rifle is now there, getting ready to sling the ball around. Jets, we don't know what's going on there. Adam Gase, is he going to be the guy to, he was previously with the Dolphins, but is he going to be the guy to get them over the hump? Is somebody going to finally take down New England? I once heard, I said this on the AFC show a few times already with a few recordings we did for the Jets and the Dolphins already, but it's funny because I once heard that I forgot, I think it might have been my teammates or somebody in college or somebody, but this is really funny because they were like, it must suck to play in the AFC East. Can you imagine that? Or to be a fan, all right, guys, who's going to get second place this year? It's kind of messed up, but it's kind of right. It's kind of true, right? Who's going to be able to knock that? Who's going to be the first team to do that, to dethrone the Patriots?
It's obviously the Patriots are the Patriots. I think, honestly, I'm going to go bold and say that possibly the Jets, because the Jets have some good key pieces like Le'Veon Bell, Sam Darnold, has some experience. Shout out to St. Clemente, by the way. And they also have, the Jets have a lot of good key pieces. I think Adam Gase can pump some life into that program, into that team, and again, I just think the Jets just have. I think on paper the Jets have the team to do it, but not to take anything away from the Bills or the Dolphins. But I think the Jets have a legitimate shot at being the team to knock off New England. I think they're the second best team in the AFC East.
Without a doubt. Certainly some big-time teams coming out of there. Some big-time names, and the AFC East is going to get a little more competitive. But, yeah, so anything else on the AFC side? We'll switch it over to the NFC right now. But what else, Terry? Anything else you're interested to see in the AFC this year?
I'm interested to see how the AFC West will turn out, considering there are some legitimate teams. Like the Chiefs are good with Pat Mahomes. The Chargers are still the Chargers. They returned their offensive line, all 5 stars from their offensive line. The Raiders look improved with Antonio Brown and Derek Carr. And the Broncos aren't to be slept on as well. So I think in terms of competitiveness on paper, the AFC West looks competitive. And there could be a team that finishes with 9 or 10 wins but doesn't get into the playoffs. Unless, of course, one team wins the division and then 2 teams, the second and third place teams from the AFC West, manage to get into the playoffs as wild cards. And that would be very interesting to see those 2 teams locking horns in the first round.
Wouldn't that be something? Really, in this AFC West, is incredible. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's no telling. Today, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Taryn, if you can, go ahead and tune in, man. It's going to be quite the show today at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. But, I'm really excited as well. I mean, there's no telling. The Raiders might just come out and do something huge. The Chargers have been knocking on the door. Is this going to be their year? The Broncos are kind of the sleeper right now, but with what they got going on right now, I mean, hey, Joe Flacco, a change of scenery is sometimes all you need. Talk about Adam Gase right now. Maybe he's needed to be out of Miami and go somewhere else. Maybe Flacco's needed to be out of Baltimore and go somewhere else. We don't know. Do not count the Broncos out. Still a pretty tough defense. Von Miller is still there. Okay, very tough defense. And then, of course, you have the Chiefs, who, my gosh, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, just amazing quarterback, just one stellar player, and it's just really tough to not put them, to kind of not already kind of give them kind of the favorite, or to make them the favorite of the division this year. But yeah, with as competitive as it is now, it's just awesome. It's just going to be so awesome to see these 4 teams go at it this year, and who will win it. But with that said, switch on over to the NFC real quick. Taryn, who you liking in the NFC so far this year?
So I think the NFC is pretty much up in the air. I think the Saints have a good shot with Drew Brees because he obviously wants to get that second Super Bowl. The Rams obviously want redemption from last year. They still have Jared Goff and Todd Gurley and all those other talented players. Yeah. So I think the NFC West is wide open, and I think the most interesting division will be the NFC North because the Bears look good with Khalil Mack on defense. Aaron Rodgers will hopefully have some help in Green Bay. The Vikings have one of the best offenses with Case Keenum and Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. And the Lions aren't to be slept either with Matt Patricia's team. And, hopefully they've taken their lumps, and they obviously want to get back on top. So, I think the NFC North is going to be the most interesting division and very competitive as well.
Absolutely. Matt Patricia, of course, I'm a big fan of his because, defense all day long. That's just me. But, yeah, we're going to see. Let's see how they can do this year. The Packers, it's kind of tough to... They've kind of, they lost some key pieces, but hey, Aaron Rodgers is there, and as long as Aaron Rodgers is there, my gosh, they had such a rough year last year, but, it's true. As long as Aaron Rodgers is there right now, I just feel like they definitely got a chance. And then, you got teams like, let's see here, who else is in there? The Vikings are just unimpressive last year. They had, in my opinion, they had a team to do it. 2 years ago, they were really, if they were going to do anything, I'm not going to count them out this year. This is a brand new year. They can do anything they want, but it's just really kind of ridiculous that, this team is as talented as they were and did nothing with it, but we shall see. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like right now they have a really good chance of being a big time team or an up and front runner, but will they? They can. They have the talent. It's there, but will they? That's kind of where everything is. And on top of that, the Bears are, I think they might take the division, man. That's a very tough team. A really, 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 really good team. I am so excited to see the dang Bears play this year. I know it sounds kind of funny, but no, like last year, there's so much promise on this team. There is so much promise on this team. And, Trubisky has just become, people were laughing when the Bears, drafted him. And, so what a very great turnout for him. And the Bears are, without a doubt, ready to roll this year. And I'm so excited to see them in action. So, anyway, yeah. Anybody else in the NFC, Taryn?
So, I think the NFC East should also be interesting as well. Like, the Dallas Cowboys look good, and the Philadelphia Eagles also look good as well. I think those two are definitely the front runners in the NFC East. The Redskins still have some work to do, especially with Alex Smith going down. That was not really fun. And then the Giants, I can see actually somewhat resurging. They do have Saquon Barkley, but I think they've got a lot of work to do. The Giants and the Redskins definitely have a lot of work to do in the NFC East. As for the NFC South, that division's kind of up in the air. It's not just the Saints that are good, but the Falcons are pretty good. The Panthers are good. And Matt Ryan's good for the Falcons. Cam Newton's good for the Panthers, and then for the Buccaneers, it all depends on if they're keeping Jameis Winston or if they're going to start Ryan Fitzpatrick. But, I don't really see the Bucs going that far. But, and I've seen weirder things happen. But if I had to pick the NFC North, I'd probably say the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints are looking strong right now. The NFC North, kind of a crapshoot between three teams. The Falcons, they did fall off a little bit, but they're still one tough team. You can definitely say that the Panthers are, without a doubt, now a big-time competitor. They're a tough team. Cam Newton, of course, you got a vet back there. Luke, of course, middle linebacker. I mean, this team is certainly, going to be a competitor in this division, as well as a team that, they don't necessarily go under the radar. They're certainly there. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we don't know what we're going to get. Last year I thought they would be really competitive, and they just laid an egg all over the place. So, or just laid eggs. But as of right now, the Saints are definitely the favorite in my opinion. But, man, what a good division this is going to be. The NFC East certainly going to be fun. The Cowboys, yes, very competitive team. They can be called the favorite, but at the same exact time, really a team that's like to watch over there. The dang Redskins, man. It's incredible to see what they've done. We have, Gruden, the other Gruden now, brother Gruden, Jay Gruden over there. But this team is great. They've added some great pass rushers. I have just become such the biggest. This guy is seriously a freaking monster. Like, without a doubt, the Redskins hold or obtain one of the absolute craziest pass rushers in the NFL, and it's no secret that he's probably going to be back at it, dominating again this year. And really, right now he's going to be. And by the way, Montez Sweat, huge pickup, and he's going to absolutely help this guy. Okay, this year in that pass rush. But really, right now, it's awesome to see this monster, and of course, Montez Sweat go at it. But I'm talking about none other than Ryan Kerrigan. In my opinion, he's one of the top 3 pass rushers in the NFL. This guy is absolutely incredible. But Montez Sweat on the other side of him is going to be awesome to see. Just going to every one of them, might as well. The NFC West is going to be interesting. Rams, well, they're going to be the favorite. Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle now on that defense. But how strong are they really going to be? This year they kind of they could return again, but it's kind of like the Rams. Okay. Last year, tough year. Sean McVay, amazing coach. But, once again, hiccups happen, things happen. But I do feel this team is going to absolutely be, somebody to reckon with. The Cardinals, well, they may have Kyler Murray, but I don't see them doing much of anything this year because, well, it's ouch. Kind of a tough year for them. The last year they had, brand new coach, all this nonsense going on with them. And the Seahawks, you can't ever count the Seahawks out. It's Pete Carroll. You can't. It is what it is. So, anyway, that's kind of the NFC in a nutshell. Anything to add there, Taryn?
Yeah, I also forgot about the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks the Seahawks are definitely the only team that can really challenge the Rams in the NFC West. But other than the Seahawks, I think the Rams pretty much have that division. I think the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl was somewhat lack of experience in the Super Bowl. It was Jared Goff's first Super Bowl. Many can make the argument that Nick Foles was able to win his first Super Bowl and he didn't have the Super Bowl experience. But he had talented players. And not saying that the Rams didn't have talented, but most of those players didn't have the experience that the Eagles players did back a couple of years ago. So now that the Rams have a good idea of what to expect, they're obviously going to work hard to get back to the big championship game, and hopefully, for my brother's sake, who is a Rams fan, and I'm kind of a Rams fan, you can somewhat see me popping in on the Ram wagon. Hopefully, the Rams get back to the Super Bowl. Because I really do like Sean McVay. He's the wizard of all of football. He does his thing, and I think he can he can take the Rams back to the Super Bowl.
He's definitely the guy. And with a coach like him leading the charge, I mean, he's the youngest coach in the league. I mean, and gets to be able to see him do something so great. He can definitely take this team to where they need to be, and it's awesome to see him in action. And we went through 7 divisions already, so might as well just go through the last one. The AFC South, we skipped it, but my gosh, that AFC South is interesting. Okay, you got DeAndre Hopkins and Watson together over there. I remember Coach Dabo Swinney for Clemson quoted that if you pass up on DeAndre Hopkins, if you pass up on Deshaun Watson in the draft, that's like passing up on Michael Jordan. So I mean, hey, that's how great he feels his player is from Clemson. But seriously, he has every chance to be better. That defense, that front 7 is the heart and soul of that defense. Can they get it done this year? Can the Texans actually get past the AFC divisional round, or the divisional round? Can they get to the AFC championship? They're a tough team. The Titans, there's so many pieces there, and it's like, put it together finally. I mean, head coach Mike Vrabel, of course, a former Patriot back in his day, a linebacker, but really, the guy knows his stuff. Dang good coach, but can they put it together? Can they put it together? They have the talent, but can they put it together? On top of that, the Colts are just gleaming, man. The Colts are just, Andrew Luck is like back, and this team is insane. It's just like the Colts were just a bottom feeder, 2 years ago? Last year, they came out of nowhere. Well, I mean, they did their thing. They became the Colts. And, look at this. Now they're a pretty tough team. I think they're actually the favorite, at least in my opinion, in the AFC South. And now we have the Jaguars, who have a guy at quarterback who the Eagles let go. And this certain quarterback has happened to take the Eagles to the Super Bowl and win the dang thing with them. And beat the Patriots. So I'm just saying, man, right now, the Jaguars, they could be competitive again. No, they had a really tough year last year, but they had a pretty good year the year before that. First time in a long time, kind of reminds me of the Raiders, just a year later. But still, it's been quite the adventure for them. And yeah, so any thoughts there on the AFC South, Taryn?
So yeah, I think this is the close second to the most competitive league in the NFL. I mean, obviously I said the NFC West is the most competitive, but the AFC West was the most competitive division in all of the AFL, but the AFC South looks really, really good. I mean, the Texans are good with Hopkins. The Colts with Andrew Luck have resurged. The Titans with Marcus Mariota look promising. And the Jaguars with Nick Foles, any one of those teams can win that division. And also Marquise Lee missing the entire season last year didn't help the Jaguars' case. But I think that there's no clear-cut winner in that division. And any of those teams can either go through their peaks and valleys at any moment in the season. But I think the AFC South and the AFC West are my 2 top divisions in the NFL.
I like it. Those are definitely going to be 2 interesting divisions to watch. And here we go off to another season in the NFL. So, with that said, we're going to take ourselves a short break. When we get back, as I mentioned, we have so much to get into today. I mean, NASCAR race this week. Pretty dang good one. Kevin Harvick wins his first race of the season. Joseph Newgarden is just dominating right now in IndyCar. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be maybe a 2-3 horse race, but right now there's one horse just a little bit ahead. That's Joseph Newgarden. Mile High Nats, as I mentioned, Steve Torrence is just torching the top fuel category right now. This class, he's just outclassing that class right now, and got some good stuff to talk about there on the Western Swing. Race 1 of the Western Swing is underway. Now they're off to Sonoma and then off to Seattle after that. And in the NHRA, got a little bit of IMSA to get on into this past week. As I mentioned, they had a race this past weekend. Also, a no-hitter in the NPF, and the first loss of the season in Week 7 at home for the USSSA Pride. Who could have done that? What team is strong enough to take on the defending Cowles Cup champion? Okay, or actually, it's the Coles Cup champion. Are you serious? The USSA Pride? Who was the first team to knock them off this year at home? Well, we'll find out. Also, talking some MLB. We've got 2 series this week to be absolutely hyped for. We got the Freeway Series, Angels and Dodgers, baby. I'm so excited for this one here. The Angels, we beat them twice at home last month. Well, can we do it again and go for the full-on sweep, or will the Dodgers, reclaim that, or will the Dodgers split it with us and sweep the Angels, or it'll be 1-1? I mean, what's it going to be? And, I mean, then it's like we have one of the most storied, most historic rivalries ever in all of sport. Yankees and Red Sox going at it this year. Yankees are on fire. Red Sox they were slumping, then they kind of weren't slumping, and they kind of slumped again. Like, they're kind of in this weird little, the Dodgers dealt with them a couple weeks ago in our series a few weeks back. But this week got quite the battle in the AL East. Also that and much, much more to come here on The Defining Moment. Once again, you are listening to The Defining Moments right here on IE Sports Radio with your hosts, me, your boy Larry B, and Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. We will be right back after this.
Drivers, start your engines. Auto racing takes many forms, from the close quarter contact of NASCAR
to the high-speed, high-risk atmosphere of IndyCar,
all the way to the pinnacle of technology with the Formula One World Championship.
No matter if you prefer the high banks of Daytona,
the concrete canyons of Long Beach,
or the flowing curves of the Nürburgring,
the international language of motorsports is simple. Go fast,
run hard,
and come home first.
So join us, myself, Darrell Kinsey Jr.,
Lolita Camello,
and Michael Ward,
on a world tour of all the best motorsports has to offer on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on your home for all. That is sports. IE Sports Radio.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the Weekend Wrap-Up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must listen. Weekend Wrap-Up on Spreaker.com. Part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Good day, folks. Yours truly, Nico Green here, reminding you, tune in to the Neutral Zone Hockey Talk Radio Show, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, proudly brought to you by IE Sports Radio. It's the Neutral Zone. All hockey, all the time. Take care. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Phil Robinson, running point, setting up Phil Jones for the finish. Join us every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we break down the week in basketball on the home for Real Talk Sports Radio, iesportsradio.com.
What up, all you boxing fans? This is Vince Wright, the sports governor, and me and Gilbert Batista are the host of Ringside on IE Sports Radio. Make sure you keep it tuned to IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com for the latest edition of Ringside. All the boxing news you need right here. Keep it tuned, Spreaker.com, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Absolutely. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is me, your boy Larry B, bringing it back to you here with my co-host, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn?
Hey, everybody. We are back. And make sure to check us out on iHeartRadio. The show's on iHeartRadio and a few other stations as well, a few other apps. So please do support IE Sports Radio, and please tune in to our show, The Defining Moment. You won't be disappointed.
Absolutely, man. And Taryn's got it on lock, y'all. Check us out, iHeartRadio. Check us out on Stitcher. Of course, live on Spreaker right now. We are on demand, our podcast on Spreaker as well, the recorded version. We are now available on, Google Play. As I mentioned, we are on Stitcher. We are on, my gosh, where else are we at? We are now available on TuneIn. We just applied for Pandora, so hopefully we'll be on Pandora pretty soon. So we are a lot of places. And also, you can check us out, y'all, as a whole, at iesportsradio.com. Loving the website. Check us out, y'all. Sign up for our monthly newsletter. Become a member of iesportsradio.com. We are going to be doing some really cool forums for all of the teams. So, in the NFL this year. So we'll have that going on here. The Picks League's going to start up pretty soon. We're going to have ourselves some fun and get really into it this year and keep it going. So check out all of our podcasting, check out all of our blogs. Mike Pat's latest blog, got to put his up there, but we got our blog central right there. We got the blog by Mr. Mike Pat, and anybody else who wants to write, but he's our chief editor of the IE Sports Radio blog, previously or formerly Mike's All Sports blog. We have our podcast, and you can listen to any of the recorded podcasts like this one after the show is done with. You can check out our little story we got on there. You can check out our Twitter feed, which is on there as well. You can check that out and much, much more, y'all. So check it out. Show us some love. Check out all of our bios and get to know us all a little bit on the IE Sports Radio family page on there, and so much more, y'all. So check us out on iesportsradio.com. Show us some love. And hey, we definitely appreciate y'all very much. So, here we go. Perfect segue. That last drop, Ringside, with Mr. Vince Wright and Gilbert Batista. Vince Wright, the sports governor of Minnesota, and Gilbert Batista, the cut man, as named by the sports governor of Minnesota, Mr. Vince Wright. I mean, seriously, what a fight, man. Like, seriously, what a fight this past weekend. And, I had this thing. Some people had it way different than I did, and some people were kind of in agreement where I was. This fight was interesting. First round, Pacquiao just looks thunderous. I mean, he gets out there, and clearly the aggressor in the fight goes after Thurman, just completely looks like he's going to outclass Thurman in this first round. Then he ends the dang round, or close to it, with a knockdown, and it just looked incredible. Like, Pacquiao, 40 years old, doing this. And, of course, yes, he did look his age a little bit later. Check out, for more on this, you can check out Ringside with Vince Wright and Gilbert Bautista. They recorded their show on Sunday, so you can check it out on any of the platforms we just mentioned, or on iSportsRadio.com under the podcast section. But man, that was something. And then after that, I had Pacquiao going like the first 4 rounds. After that, Thurman, I think, dominated like the next 3 or 4. I had the fight tied up at 4-4 in the 8th round. I even had Thurman taking the lead at 5-4 rounds after round 9. Then after that, Pacquiao kind of came up, and it looked a little bit like it was even around there. But it honestly, at the end of the 12th round, I had no idea. Some people said it was unanimous decision. Like, they would say that was unanimous decision. I've spoke with, a few people. I saw some posts that said, yeah, Pacquiao didn't win that fight. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe they saw something I didn't see. I just thought Thurman actually, like, literally redeemed himself. I really did think that Thurman came out and could have, been able to win that fight. I am a Pacquiao fan. I was going for Pacquiao 100%. But me just being, a realistic sports fan, being fair, I really thought that Thurman had a really good chance of winning it. It was a split decision. I thought exactly that's what it should have been, something close. I don't think it should have been a unanimous decision, because Pacquiao looked great early on, but began to kind of drop back a little bit, and Thurman began to, really, that's not Pacquiao's fault, because Thurman is just a great fighter. He came out ready to fight, and he gave Pacquiao a good fight. Now, though, let's go ahead and do one of my favorite things to do here, crown the new champ, because after it was all said and done, it was split decision, and ladies and gentlemen, by way of split decision, and new WBA welterweight champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Just got to say how awesome that fight was. So, big ups to Manny for winning that one here. I'd love to see a rematch. Vince Wright said the same thing, that a rematch would be awesome. But I like what Gilbert also said in Ringside, that he has bigger fish to fry. That next up, I mean, that welterweight division is so jam-packed. Will Pacquiao call it a career? We don't know. He hasn't said anything at all yet. Will he fight? I mean, I think Gilbert and I have been talking about it. Gilbert introduced the idea to me, and I would love to see him fight Bud Crawford, who is, in my opinion, and Gilbert's opinion, I kind of stole that from him, but the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, which I do agree with that statement for Bud Crawford. But still, I mean, right now, just what a fight. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and hand it on over to Taryn. But Taryn, what do you think, man? Give me your thoughts on this fight, and what do you think, man? Do you think this decision was right?
So this fight was definitely very close. It looked like Pacquiao was going to cruise through this fight, because as Gilbert Bautista said last week on The Defining Moment, that he said that Pacquiao's experience was going to carry him through this match. And it looked like it was going to be Pacquiao's fight to win. But then Thurman, as the rounds got later, Thurman just kept going at it. And Bautista also mentioned this as well, that the longer the match goes, the more tired Pacquiao gets, and that would be Thurman's chance to deliver the KO. I honestly thought the match could have gone either way. I'm obviously happy with the decision, but again, I have to feel for Thurman losing his first match, but I think that loss will actually help him out in the long run. It'll definitely teach him a lesson, and because if you want to be the best, you got to beat some of the best, and you learn more from a loss than you do a win, in my opinion. Because when you lose, you don't really lose. You just think of what you can do to improve, what you didn't do right, what you can do to prevent losing again. And losing just makes you want to get after it, train harder, and makes you want it more. Because losing sucks. I hate losing more than I love winning. So, in my opinion, I think this loss will help Thurman in the long run. So, but props to both fighters on an amazing fight on Saturday.
Absolutely. It was quite the fight, and and I like how you said that, man. It's definitely a lesson, and Thurman wore it proud, man. Like, I mean, I don't know if he was proud of it, but he didn't have anything to say. I slipped and fell, or, I wasn't, I wasn't prepared enough, or whatever. Well, maybe he would say something like that, because that is true. If you're a loser, maybe you didn't prepare as well enough, but I'm just saying there was no excuses. He didn't say anything that was... I didn't see any quotes from him or anything like that. That was kind of ridiculous. Like, he lost. He owned up to it. Vince Wright said that on ringside, and, I mean, it's true. Like, he owned up to it, and that's what great fighters do. He learned, and he's on to the next. It's his first loss in his professional career, so... but, hey, I mean, if you're going to lose to anybody, I mean, let's just say, a loss on your record, yeah, it sucks, but if it's a loss on your record to a freaking legend... I mean, Taryn, I guess it can't hurt that bad, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't hurt bad because, again, if you want to be the best, you got to beat some of the best. And Manny Pacquiao is one of the best. And I've been hearing speculation that there could be a Pacquiao-Mayweather rematch. But, we can't look that far into the future. But I think Thurman has a bright future ahead of him for the most part.
I think so, too. And you know what? He's got... That welterweight division is just so jam-packed. I love the welterweight division. You have Danny Swift Garcia, even little Danny, even little Mikey Garcia. He tried his hand at Errol Spence. It didn't work out so well earlier this year in March, but he can keep training, work his way up there. Lomachenko, if he were to ever want to jump up weight and jump up there with those guys in the welterweight division, I mean, that would be incredible. But you have guys like Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter now. I think he's the IBF. I forgot which title he holds in the welterweight division, but he's also a champion there. You got Lipinets, who's also a pretty dang good fighter in there. Manny Pacquiao is still there. I mean, this is one jam-packed. Of course, Bud Crawford, as I mentioned already. So the welterweight division is just awesome. I really enjoy watching those fights. I absolutely love the welterweight division. It is such a very competitive division. I don't know if it's always been. I've been a boxing fan for a long time, but didn't really get into all the weight classes and everything until I started podcasting, and in the recent years, even after I started podcasting. So, but just got to say, it's a very good division. I really, really enjoy it. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and switch some gears here, Taryn, and let's go ahead and get on to your turf now, talking on the diamond. Of course, you, one of the hosts of Bases Loaded here on IE Sports Radio. You can catch that tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. But, no, you're definitely, your turf is all over the place. You're a sports fan in general, for sure, man. You're definitely good at all of it. But, you're one of the hosts here, so I guess that's why I said it. But let's go ahead and jump on into a little discussion about the NPF, man, because this is insane. Like, seriously, absolutely insane. I'm reading this off of your message in the Bases Loaded group chat. But, I mean, how incredible was this, man? Can we just get the applause button for the Canadian Wild? I mean, the Canadian Wild, y'all, brand new team in the NPF, and they were the first team to knock off the USSSA Pride at home this season, and it was week 7. I mean, are you serious? 7 weeks into the season, they have not lost at home, and finally, this team knocks them off. I mean, first things first, let's just jump into that. Taryn, your thoughts?
So that was an amazing win for the Canadian Wild. It was very, very impressive considering it's not an easy place. Playing on the road, it's not easy to win, especially when you're playing USSSA. Because they had yet to lose a home game, and then I see that they're up, and I see the Wild are up, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I had to tell you all about it. I had to tell you, Brandon, and Blake about it, and then and honestly, the Pride were starting to make a comeback. I think it was like they had runners on like second and third, and with 2 outs, but the Wild were able to get it back, and they were able to end the threat. And it's very impressive by the Wild.
Absolutely. Talk about a crazy victory. They get this thing done, and just what a way to win. I mean, they pulled this thing off. First team to do it all season. I mean, the Pride, as I mentioned, they're the defending Coles Cup champion, and they knocked off the Bandits last year. and in August, and we're steaming towards it. I mean, the playoffs, I mean, it's crazy how short the NPF season is, but playoffs are just weeks away. I mean, we're like literally talking about a little bit less than a month now away from the Coles Cup playoffs, or from the playoffs, the NPF playoffs, and to the Coles Cup. So, I mean, this is really going to be interesting to see, who gets there. As of right now, I mean, I think we can see the pride. I mean, anything can happen, but, I mean, this guy right here is absolutely going to be a tough... Okay, unfortunately, guys, I just got some terrible news right now. Wow, that really sucks. So, I just got on my ESPN ScoreCenter app, and I would like to give a moment of silence. This is really sad, and I really hope that something of this doesn't happen again. But unfortunately, this past week, we had a boxing match. And, well, I mean, not unfortunately, because boxing is great. But unfortunately, this past week, there was a fight on ESPN. And as of right now, I can't even... Yeah, it's really sad. I see the guy who won here. But after one of the fights, Maxim Dadashev was actually carried off in a stretcher. I don't know if he was dehydrated. I didn't get to see the fight, but I heard about it, and he was carried off in a stretcher and taken to the hospital. I don't know if he was dehydrated or if he was knocked out. I don't know what happened, but he was taken to the hospital, and I prayed for him. I hoped, I was hoping that he'd be okay. And unfortunately, right now, I just got on the ESPN ScoreCenter app that, unfortunately, Maxim Dadashev it says here, had been in a medically induced coma since Friday. And unfortunately, at age 28, he has now passed away today. So I don't know if it was last night or today or this morning or whenever it was, but I just want to have a moment of silence. Go with God, brother. And if we have a moment of silence here for Maxim Dadashev. Thank you all, and once again, Maxim Dadashev, go with God, brother. You're in my prayers, and I send my deepest condolences to the Dadashev family and all of his loved ones, and God be with you all, and I just pray that Maxim Dadashev is now in heaven, smiling down on all of you and all of us in the boxing, everybody in the boxing community, and such sad news to get right here in the middle of the show, but unfortunately, that's just what happened. But hey, God called him home, and I'm sorry to say that he is gone at such an early age. But once again, go with God. So, any comments, Taryn?
None really. I mean, it's very sad and tragic that happened. So, my prayers and thoughts are to his family and his loved ones, and to all the boxing community. And yeah, rest in eternal peace. You're in a better place, having a big boxing match up in the sky, and you're with God.
Absolutely. So yes, rest in eternal peace, rest in everlasting peace, brother, and go with God. So that's right. Go to your big boxing match in the sky. So may he rest in everlasting peace. And okay, so we will move forward. But I guess I saw that and I couldn't let that, I just couldn't not say anything about that. So let's go ahead and jump on in now to that undefeated snap at home back to the USSSA Pride, losing their first match at home to the Canadian Wild. I mean, just what a game, and what a way to win this thing. Because it was actually a pretty close game at the end of it. I think the score, what was the final score, like 2-1 or something like that? Let me go look.
3-1.
3-1. So pretty good game here. And it's actually interesting because it says here, looking at the National Fast Pitch here on Twitter, and it says here, let's see here. It was their Rip It player, the player of the game, and it was Victoria Hayward. She was awarded with the Rip It player of the night, or if you will, of the National Fast Pitch, the NPF, and she went 2 of 4 with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. So a pretty good outing, as Miss Victoria Hayward will be a big part of the reason why the Canadian Wild will win this thing. So big hand to her. Talk about a great performance, and wow, what a way to get this thing done, defeating a very potent, strong, tough, nasty, aggressive team in the Pride. Your thoughts real quick, Taryn, on that?
Yeah, Victoria Hayward was definitely key for the Wild in the victory. 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. That's definitely a one-woman wrecking crew. I also have to give a shout out to Kelsey Jenkins, who had an amazing defensive play, according to the the NPF Twitter account. And I saw this defensive play, and it looked like it was going to be a single for the Pride, but then Jenkins comes up with this quick grab and then throw to first base, and that's impressive. And it said, does defense win games? I say absolutely, because it kept the Pride at bay going into the 6th inning. So that's very impressive by the Wild, winning on the road against USSSA. And the funny thing about that win over the Pride is that the Wild actually lost prior to that, and the Pride actually beat the Chicago Bandits in a 2-game series prior to facing the Wild as well. So to lose that game against the Wild is kind of mind-blowing. This just goes to show you that no team is safe. This is to all the teams that have winning streaks. If you're not playing at your best, or if you're not playing at a high level on a certain given night, you could be on the wrong side of the score. No team is safe. So gotta be on your A game every night. Gotta have your Wheaties. More importantly, can't be behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely, and great way to put it. Gotta have your Wheaties, y'all. So apparently the Canadian Wild had their Wheaties last week and got a big victory there. Also, let's talk about more news posted in the group there, because I love it, man. Great stuff. Great way to keep it up, man. You're keeping me up now on the NPF. I love it. So great stuff here. But hats off to what a great week here. So hats off to Rachel Fico of the Chicago Bandits. She would do it. Where's an applause button, y'all? Perfect game. Can we get a perfect game alert? Rachel Fico picks a perfect game against the Aussie Peppers, and just what an incredible job by her. So, incredible job, man. Rachel Fico, what do you got to say about that game?
That was an amazing game for Fico, and she's been key for the Bandits this year. This is why the Bandits have one of the best record in the NPF. Pitching that perfect game, and she's actually the pitcher of the week, believe it or not. So that perfect game is pretty much an indicator on the Bandits' success, and Fico can take them all the way if it's possible. If she keeps pitching like that, the Bandits can do anything. I think me personally, I think it's definitely going to boil down to the Bandits and the Pride. It's pretty much a 2-horse race in the NPF standings. I'll be interested to see which team falters and which team gets on a hot streak between those two. But mad props to Rachel Fico. She pitched a perfect game, and it's definitely got me very interested these next 3 weeks when it comes to NPF.
Oh, definitely agree. And then you put here, remember, it's kind of crazy too. The Canadian Wild actually beat the USSA Pride after losing the day before to them. And then I think you said here the Pride actually swept the Chicago Bandits in a 2-game series prior to that loss at home to the Wild.
Yes, that's what I said.
That is incredible. It goes to show you how tough this Canadian Wild team is. And the USSA Pride, once again, a team that just cannot be overlooked. They're quite the dominant team. But right now, hey, Right now, we definitely have a pretty good, it's a 2-horse race right now. The Canadian Wild sneaking up there. I like it. But, yeah, it's going to be great all the way into the Coles Cup. And I'm really looking forward to that. But right now, courtesy of ProFastPitch.com, we have the current standings for y'all. So let's take a quick look here. Bandits are at 25-7. USSSA Pride at 24-7. Uh-oh, Taryn. We've got ourselves a close one here. One game difference. The Canadian Wild at 17-17 at 500. The Cleveland Comets 18 games, but they don't, they have more losses, so they're 18-20. Then you have the Aussie Peppers at 9-26, and the Beijing Eagles at 7-23. So right now, I don't know, man. It looked like a 3-horse race, but Cleveland, how about those Cleveland Comets is kind of sneaking up over the horizon? What do you think about that?
So, yeah, definitely the Cleveland Comets are a team to watch for as well. 2 of their players actually got honors as well. Victoria Vidalis was named Player of the Week, the Boomba Player of the Week, and then Lily Piper was named Rookie of the Week. So, big shots to both of those 2 players. They're definitely trying to get the Comets back on track and get them into the playoff hunt, and that's very impressive.
Really is, and I'm looking forward to lots of great softball coming up here. Well, Fast Pitch, these ladies are nothing to be overlooked. Such an incredible series here, the NPF. I really hope it grows. Taryn, how awesome would it be to get a team over here in LA? I've been campaigning for that for the last, 3 years. Seriously, I would love a Los Angeles Pro Fast Pitch team. What do you think?
It would be really awesome to see a team from Los Angeles. It would also help grow the Los Angeles sports community, because it's already big with all these football and basketball and baseball teams. But to have a softball team, an NPF team, that would be really awesome to see. And it would also be great. It also encourage more high school players to play in college, whether it be junior college or at a 4-year university. And it would also encourage more players in college to continue to play in the NPF. So I think an NPF team would be great in LA.
Oh yeah, I think right now it's already a hotbed, man. Softball is already a hotbed. You watch college softball and you see all these players, next up to bat or in the outfield or in the infield, wherever, pitching, and it's awesome because you see a lot of names, from down here. You see all these Southern California names, and it's awesome because earlier this year I got to see, well, I didn't get to see it, but I heard Danielle Gibson. She's actually from Marietta, which is right here, right by me. That's literally just a few miles down the road, down the 15, and Danielle Gibson, she played for Arizona State and then transferred over, it was her freshman year. Then she transferred on over to Arkansas, and this year, I loved it. I had to announce this on the show. Taryn, she did what no one has ever done. Ever in the history of anything on a diamond. I'm talking about professional baseball and MLB, okay, pro fast pitch, professional or college softball or college baseball, okay. I don't even know if it's done. I don't know if it's been done in the high school level, but in the collegiate level or in the professionals. This young lady, okay, this young woman will go. She will hit for the cycle, okay. Okay, kicks out. Follow me on this. She hit for the cycle. First ever player to do it. Okay. I'm sorry, let me go ahead and build this up a little bit more. She was the first ever player to hit the cycle. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
In back-to-back innings. Never been done. Okay, how awesome is that? That is so cool to know that this young lady was able to make this happen. Okay, back-to-back innings. First ever player to hit for the cycle in 4 innings straight. Taryn, your thoughts?
So that's very, very impressive. If you're able to hit for the cycle once, that alone is impressive. But to do it in back-to-back games, that's just flabbergasted.
Oh no, Taryn.
flabbergasted.
She was able to do it in she was the only player to ever do it in 4 innings in a row. In one game.
But it's still, it's very impressive in 4 innings as well. That's just even makes it even more flabbergasting. So that's just downright impressive. I didn't even know that stat until now. So it's really awesome to hear that. And to anyone that hits for the cycle, you have my tip of the cap when it comes to hitting for the cycle. But in games like that, that's just impressive.
Yeah, I don't know who it was against, but it was this year for the Arkansas Razorbacks, for the Arkansas Lady Razorbacks. And, just what a incredible performance. But, so yeah, young ladies like her, Sierra Romero, I'm pretty sure we talked about her before, from the USSSA Pride, and the all-time leading home run hitter in college softball from Michigan. Remember we talked about her before?
Yeah, we have.
Well, guess what, Taryn? She is from the rival school of Marietta High School, Vista Marietta. She's also from down here in Southern California.
Awesome. Very, very awesome.
And
great to hear.
Right? And her sister, Sydney Romero, who just played in the College World Series for Oklahoma, she is also from Marietta.
A big shout out to the Inland Empire. Big shout out.
Right? So it's a hotbed, man. And you're right. That's what I'm saying. You're right, man. It would be awesome for some of these young women to come home and play, as women. Not that not women. I was saying it would be awesome for some of these young ladies to come back and play for, close to a city that, like Los Angeles or something. Like, it'd be great for them to come over here and play. Like, I would just love for there to be a team over here. So I think that'd be awesome. And, so with that said, let's go ahead and take a quick look here, Taryn. Okay, before we go ahead and move on, let's see here. Who do we have tonight? Let's see. Let's pull that schedule real fast. Okay, so for a pro fast pitch coming up this week. Sorry, I was like all over the place right now. I had to take a look at the schedule and everything. Or sorry, I had to take a look at the standings and everything. So let's go and take a look at the schedule and see who we got playing tonight. So it looks like we've got the Eagles versus the Pride. That is tonight, as well as the Peppers versus the Wild. Then we got the Pride versus the Eagles and the Peppers versus the Wild again tomorrow. Looks like they got a double header. Looks like, yes they do. And then on the 25th, on Thursday, Eagles and Pride again, Peppers and Wild. And then on the 26th, Bandits and Eagles. And Pride versus the Eagles. So, wow, looks like they got a doubleheader. The Eagles got a doubleheader versus the Pride and the Bandits. My gosh, the Eagles have quite the... Can you imagine that, taking on the number 1 and 2 team in the same day?
Yeah, it's definitely a tall task for the Beijing Eagles. And, the Bandits and Pride are not looking to pull any punches. Because if one loss could put you behind the 8 ball, and it could definitely dip in your chances at getting the number 1 seed and possibly home field advantage. And a big shout out to Jolene Henderson, who continues to dominate for the USSSA Pride. So big shout out to Jolene. She continues to do her thing.
Yeah, big shout out to Jillian Henderson. And then we have here coming up on the 27th, Bandits and Eagles and Comets at Wild. And that will be it. We'll stop it there on the 27th because that's that's Saturday. So we'll continue on the rest of that for next week on the Sunday. So that's what we got going on for today. But let's switch it off onto another diamond, man. A little bit bigger diamond onto the MLB. First things first, Taryn, what more can you say about these Atlanta Braves? I mean, they are now leading. I know they split the series, and you had to remind me last night. I thought they won. I had to go switch everything around on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook and everything for the post. But, man, the Braves are playing baseball right now. Like, the Braves are really on one, and I was wanting to get to this point because they looked tough, okay? So, after last night, I don't know if they played last night, but let's see here. Let's just take a quick look to see if they did play yesterday, because if they did, the record has certainly changed. But
they didn't play last night.
They didn't play last night. Okay, so let's go to last Sunday then. Their last game. I think they played today for sure. But for right now, this team, okay, after Sunday night's victory, They will win 7-1 on Sunday Night Baseball, defeating the Nationals. They'll split the series 2-2. But Atlanta advances to 60-41. Of course, I don't know if anybody else played last night or in the AL East. But as of Sunday, okay, they were at 60-41. Of course, the Braves stayed there. They haven't played since. But they have a 6.5 game lead in the NL East. Now, if we go on over to the ESPN ScoreCenter app and go on over to the standings, we can see if that lead has shrunken any or maybe stayed the same. Certainly hasn't grown since they didn't play yesterday, but they still currently lead by 6.5 games over Washington. So first and foremost, man, that was number 1 versus number 2 in that division. They split the series, but man, what is in the water in Atlanta? And I mean, can they share some of that with the Falcons? Because I mean, seriously, Atlanta United FC is just going at it right now. This team is playing great soccer in the MLS. Joseph Martinez is just, this guy is just a baller. And talk about the Atlanta Braves, man. I mean, this team is up and coming. They're doing their thing. They're leading the division. Right now, what do you think about these Braves right now?
So the Braves are definitely impressive. They're definitely the other team to watch for in the National League. They along with the Dodgers, are the only National League teams to have 60 wins, 60-plus wins. As for Washington, I actually predicted this series between the Braves and the Nationals to be split. I actually honestly predicted those two to split the series. For the Nationals, though, they're still ahead in the wild card, but their lead has shrunk to only a half a game over the Cardinals. They still have the top spot in the wild card, but a lot of teams are in contention for that. So, if the Nationals can't catch the Braves, they're kind of going to need to keep their grip on the wild card, because anything is now possible. I mean, we've seen a lot of movement in both wild card races, so.
I mean,
yes.
This is awesome to see them playing so well. I don't want to sit here and build up the hope too much. I mean, anybody can win it. That's all there is to it. But as of right now, clearly the favorites, I wouldn't have either Atlanta or the Nationals as my favorite to win the NLCS or anything. But Atlanta and Washington are, we don't know. Crazier things have happened, I'm sure, but in baseball. But man, two teams right now who are all over it, fighting hard, could make that wild card spot. I mean, they're very, very, very tough teams right now, Atlanta and Washington. And we got a nice little battle going on, even if it's a 6.5 game gap. Got a nice little battle going on in the AL East. So, real quick too, any news you've heard on the trade deadline?
None at the moment. If there's any news I want to hear, though, I definitely want to hear the Angels making some transactions to improve their bullpen, honestly. I'll get to more of that on Bases Loaded, but, I really want to see the Angels make some transactions to get their pitching staff, to get their bullpen better, because it just seems to be it seems to go down the hill. Because now Andrew Heaney's on the IR, which is very sad. It seems like whenever he's off the IR, he just gets back on there. So it's sad to see Andrew Heaney on the IR. But, the Angels will persevere, hopefully.
I agree. I do think that they will win. They will continue to be a pretty good winning team as they are right now. But yeah, without a doubt, right now, I mean, we're between winning and not. I mean, we have our days where we're pretty decent, and then we have our days where we're just terrible. So we're hanging around 500 all the time. But for Andrew Heaney, I guess thoughts and prayers with you, man. I guess please heal up and stay healthy. It's not easy, but certainly. I'd like to see him get back out there, but as for the bullpen, we definitely need something going on in the bullpen. So me as a diehard Angels fan, I know you as an Angels and a Dodgers fan, I mean, it's always nice to see your team do better. So also last past weekend, we had here a pretty interesting series, a series I really, really enjoyed. It was a good one. Padres and Cubs. I mean, what a series, man, over there in Wrigley Field. The Padres, just have been this weird, awkward Yeah, they're good now. They're decent. They got Manny over there. Yay! They're somewhat competitive. But the first game was a close one, 6-5. The Cubs go ahead and get a nice little victory there in a close one. Then the next day, actually, let's take a look here. Whoopsies. Let's go ahead and I was on Saturday. Okay, so yeah, 6-5 on Friday, and wouldn't you look at this? Wow, that is funny. 6-5 again on Saturday. So Friday and Saturday, 6-5, Cubs win this thing. They clinch the series, and then on Sunday, the Padres kind of just let the bats loose, and they get a 5-1 victory. So another dropped series for this Padres club, but regardless, man, you see them taking on a top-tier team like the Cubs. I mean, I know the NL West is kind of maybe not 100%, but is being close to being decided with the Dodgers going on a winning spree right now. But, I mean, being able to take on top teams like this, get a nice 4-run victory on Sunday after they already lost the series, but 6-5, consistent 6-5 games, hitting 5 for 5 runs against this tough Cubs team. I mean, you know what? It may not be much of a consolation or a consolation prize, but my gosh, the improvement for the Padres, you have to be somewhat happy, Padres fans. Am I right, Taryn?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's definitely good for all the San Diegans. And to score 5 runs in all 3 of those series is pretty impressive. So I don't know if that's what they were shooting for, but, 5 must be their lucky number. So we'll see how the Padres do against the Mets tonight. So, and, you talk about the NL West. A team that's definitely caught my eye is the San Francisco Giants. It looked like they were dead in the water, but now they've been reeling off win after win. In their last 10 games, they're 9-1, and they're 51-50. And believe it or not, they're only 2 games back of the National League wild card for the final spot. So it's definitely impressive to see the Giants resurging. The same can be said for the Cardinals, who are also tied with the Giants for at 51-50. The National League wild card race is definitely close. Most of those teams, other than the Marlins, sorry Miami fans, can actually win the National League wild card. Can get either one of 2 spots in the National League wild card, and it's very impressive because baseball is is basically a marathon. So to see, as Blake would say, to see the NL being very competitive and pretty much balanced for the most part is very impressive. Any of those teams have a chance to win the wild card. It's not, from the Nationals down to the Mets. That's very balanced and competitive. And you look at these teams. The Nationals and Cardinals are the 2 teams that are occupying the wild card spots in the National League. But then you have the Phillies and the Brewers, which are half a game behind St. Louis. And I feel I'm going to spoil everything. I'm just going to say it as this: the National League wild card is going to be a dogfight toward the end of the season. I'll get more into that on Bases Loaded tonight.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And yeah, not to step on your guys' toes, and they got a lot to get into tonight. But a few more series. Starting here, Athletics and Twins, and we also had Rangers and Astros. I mean, I wasn't able to catch either of those, but man, Athletics and Twins would start on Friday. On Thursday. It was a 4-game series, and it was quite the series. Twins win this one 6-3 on Thursday. On to Friday, we have game number 2, where on to Friday the Athletics would win this one 5-3, so it's an even series. Then we move on to Saturday, where the Athletics win 5-4. What? Are the Athletics... Athletics coming out of nowhere, getting ready to... They had, not the best start this year, but they've certainly, they're there. Are they going to win the series 3-1, or are they going to, tie it? And they tied it in a very close game. The Twins win game number 4, 6-7. And guess what? A close one. It was actually a walk-off, man. Walk-off home run, or actually a walk-off RBI, and it would be Kepler that would single to center, and Adrianza, I believe, would run in, would come on in, and there it is, man. Walk-off RBI. What a thrilling series this was, and Minnesota will win this thing this past weekend and tie up that series with the Athletics. And because that says a lot, too. The Minnesota Twins are, really playing, the Minnesota Twins are playing good baseball right now. There's no doubt about this whatsoever, how well Minnesota is playing. They're leading by 3 games right now in the AL Central, looking pretty strong. In the Athletics, it seems like they have really redeemed themselves. Not the best start this year, but my gosh, the Athletics have, surpassed the Angels already by 3 games. Actually, by, 4 games. So, actually, 5 games, excuse me. But right now, what a good series from both these teams. And both these teams right here are very relevant in the wild card picture.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, if you told me that the Twins were going to be ahead in the AL Central, I wouldn't have believed you. So, hats off to the Minnesota Twins. They're at 60-38. The Oakland A's, I actually predicted the Twins to take this series 3-1, but after the A's won that second game, I was like, oh, goodness, this team might actually be for real. And then the Twins, because actually in the A's 5-4 win over the Twins, they actually had to come from behind. They were down 4-3 going into the 9th inning, and then they managed to muster up two runs, and I was like, whoa, that's impressive. And there was actually one point where the Angels were only 1 game behind the A's, and then suddenly the A's just got hot, and the Angels got cold. So the Oakland A's are definitely an interesting team to watch for, and just like the NL wild card, unlike the NL wild card, the AL wild card is still pretty close, though. It's not as close as the NL wild card, but between the Indians, A's, Rays, Red Sox, Angels, and Rangers, any of those teams have a shot at winning the wild card. And Oakland has the second wild card, and they're only one, but they are only 1 game up on the Rays. So I think and as the trade deadline gets closer, I can see some of these teams making big trades to improve their team, because one trade could make the difference. So,
without a doubt.
So far, the Indians are the top spot in the wild card.
Without a doubt. So let's go ahead and jump on to the leagues real fast. We'll to the divisions. We'll go AL first, then the NL. It's all courtesy of the ESPN Scores App, where I'm getting my sources from here. And then we'll go on to the NL. It's kind of quick and dirty. And then we'll get into the series of the week. So AL, right now, in the AL East, we have here the Yankees leading by 9 games. They're at 64-35. Tampa Bay at 57-46. Boston at 55-46. Toronto at 38-64, and Baltimore at 31-68. Then in the Central, we have Minnesota doing their thing right now, 61-38, leading by 3 games over Cleveland. Cleveland currently at 58-41. Chicago White Sox at 45-52. Kansas City at 35-64, and Detroit just having a tough year at 30-65, a lot like the Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles, just having tough years this year. AL West, we have the Houston Astros, which I forgot to get into that. You know what? I totally had a blip right there, and let me go ahead and just recap that series really fast. That was a 3-game series this past Friday to Sunday. And game number 1, Astros 4-3 over the Rangers. Good old Texas battle right here. Astros take game number 1 and number 2 6-1, and then they go on to game number 3 on Sunday, where they sweep the Rangers. They sweep the Rangers 5-3 in game number 3. So big upset to the Astros there. No, Blake's happy about that. So 65-37. They are now ahead by 7.5 games over the Athletics. The Athletics currently second place at 57-44. The Angels currently at 52-49. We have the Texas Rangers at 500 at 50-50 and 50-50, and then Seattle will round out the AL West, having a tough year to go along with the Royals, the Tigers, and the Orioles at 54-62. So any thoughts there on the AL before we move on to the NL?
So one thing I noticed this past week is that Tampa Bay has really slumped. I think they lost, after they won the first game against the Yankees, they lost the next 3, and then they lost 2 in a row to the White Sox before winning the final game and avoiding the sweep. And then the Red Sox just trounced the Rays yesterday. it was like 9. Well, they didn't like trounce them, but for the most part, it was a big trouncing. And suddenly, Tampa Bay has lost its grip in the wild card race. Now, as I said, now Tampa Bay is like one game behind the Oakland A's, and Tampa Bay actually had a pretty sizable lead in the AL wild card. So to lose that. And they had a pretty sizable lead in the AL East for first place. So to see the Rays have definitely got to improve for the most part. Another team I saw slumping as of late is the Rangers. The Rangers were ahead of the Angels for the most part, but now they're slumping. They got swept by the Astros, and then last night they lost to the Mariners. I honestly think. I might be a little biased with this. I think the AL West is the strongest and most competitive league out there. 4 teams with over 500 records, and then the Mariners are not to be taken lightly. Honestly, like on Friday, they almost had a perfect game against the Angels. So. It was Mike Leake who almost had the perfect game for the Mariners. He had a perfect game going through 8 innings, and then Luis Rengifo managed to break up the perfect game / no-hitter. So the Mariners are not to be taken lightly. And the Mariners are out to be playing spoiler in that division. So, like I said, the American League is looking strong. I think the Yankees probably have the best bullpen, arguably. But it's kind of too early. Lots of bullpens have their ups and downs. And I've been hearing that if the Yankees and the Dodgers met in the World Series, the Yankees have the better bullpen. This is according to what I've heard from Steve Mason from the Mason and Ireland show on ESPN LA.
Okay, well, great stuff there. And as you can see, Terry Rodriguez here is getting ready for base loaded tonight, man. Right now, it's kind of the practice run. He's getting ready for the big show tonight with some baseball. But next up, into the NL. Now we have the AL East. We talked about them already today, but I'm going to get a little more into it if you'd like. A few more minutes here in the MLB, then we'll be off to another sport. But the Atlanta Braves, 60-41, with a current 6.5 game lead over the Washington Nationals. The Washington Nationals at 52-46. Philadelphia at 52-48. The Mets 45-54. They're not too far behind, but they're a little ways. And then Miami at 36-62, just adding to the teams having a tough season there, or having tough seasons. The NL Central, this is my favorite. I love this. It is just 8 games from first place to last place. Just what an awesome, awesome, awesome division right now. We have Chicago, the Cubs, leading at 54-46. The St. Louis Cardinals at 52-47. Milwaukee, they dropped a little bit there, but hey, Milwaukee's still there. That's what the whole division is. 53-49. Pittsburgh, 46-53. Cincinnati, 45-53. And once again, from Chicago down to Cincinnati, it is only an 8-game gap. That is incredible, okay? Then we have in the NL West, Dodgers are just kind of catching their stride right now. They're catching stride. Yeah, the Dodgers are catching stride. They're doing their thing. Dodgers at 67-35, 15.5 games ahead of the rest of the division. Arizona at 51-50. Once again, 15.5 games back from the Dodgers. The San Francisco Giants at 51-50. Colorado at 47-52. And San Diego at 47-52 as well. So any thoughts here on the NL before we move on to our next sport, Taryn?
So definitely the NL wildcard looks, like I said, the NL wildcard looks very close. One thing I would like to say, in the NL wildcard, an interesting fact, in terms of run difference, the Arizona Cardinals, while they are 2 games back of the final wildcard spot, they are at plus 66.
The Arizona Cardinals?
I'm sorry, not Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks. Sorry, Brandon Buckingham.
Football's here, man.
Arizona Diamondbacks are a plus 66 in terms of run differential. So that's very impressive by the Diamondbacks. So as for the rest of the National League, obviously the Dodgers and the Braves are the class of the National League. A team I'd like to see resurge a little is the Brewers. I think the Brewers with Christian Yelich can get back in it. You know, it's very interesting to see them having a -5 run differential, but they're still like in it, and it's crazy. And the Cincinnati Reds have a +28 run differential, but they're 45 and 53, but that's just goes to show you how crazy the National League wild card is. And I apologize to all the Arizona fans for getting the Arizona Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks mixed up, especially Brandon Buckingham.
Well, it's all good, but definitely such a good stuff there. But all right, so let's go ahead and move it on now. You know what, Darren? Let's take ourselves a break, man. We've been on for a little bit, so let's take ourselves a short break. When we get back, we will get into the world of cars. Yeah, actually, oh my gosh, how could I forget this? You know what? And there is no short break. How could I forget? Taryn, my gosh, we have 2 series of the week we got to talk about really quick. Then we can take our break real fast. There's just so much happening, y'all. But, of course, the Freeway Series. I guess you could say games 3 and 4 of the Freeway Series. Angels took the first 2 last month. And here we go. Coming up this week, today, we will have the Angels taking on the Dodgers, 7:10 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow, same time, 7:10 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Should be some good battles there going on this week. And, of course, the Series of the Week. I mean, that's definitely a Series of the Week, but the other Series of the Week ending on Sunday Night Baseball. It is a 4-game series between 2 teams who just can't stand each other, the Red Sox and the Yankees. They are in Fenway Park this week. And, man, I mean, the Yankees have gotten the better of the Boston Red Sox for sure this year, or at least, I know they have. I know they've beaten them a little bit more than the Red Sox have beaten the Yankees. But coming up this week, all the way to Sunday, concludes on Sunday Night Baseball this week. Yankees at Red Sox. Taryn, your thoughts on these 2 series?
So I'm actually going to save most of my thoughts for on the Yankees and Red Sox on bases loaded. I'm going to save most of my thoughts for bases loaded, but I will say this, it's an important series for the Red Sox, and for the Red Sox, they can't actually look that far ahead, because they have to deal with the Rays, and the Rays definitely want to make up some ground after having a week to forget last week, losing to teams like the Yankees and the White Sox. So, for the Red Sox, my thing is, I would get through the series against the Rays, because you are playing in Tampa Bay, so it's kind of tough to win on the road sometimes. So for the Red Sox, don't look that far ahead, because if you look that far ahead, you'll miss out on the big picture when it comes to facing the Tampa Bay Rays in the for the last spot in the wild card. Because as I said, the Tampa Bay Rays actually had a sizable lead in the AL East, and then the Yankees just came out of nowhere and just popped the lead out of them. And then the Rays actually had a pretty good lead in the AL wild card for the top spot. And then suddenly they just kept going downward and downward and downward, and all these other teams kept winning their games. And then suddenly the Rays are now finding themselves on the outside looking in for the most part. But I will save most of my Red Sox and Yankees thoughts for bases loaded. Should I get into the Angels-Dodgers right now?
Yeah, might as well. We got a few minutes. Might as well just jump on into that.
Yeah, so the Angels-Dodgers series, it's a crucial series for both teams. In their last series, in both teams' last series, with the Dodgers facing the Miami Marlins. And I gotta give a big shout to the Encino man on Twitter for saying this. The Dodgers struggled against the Miami Marlins. They really couldn't their pitching wasn't up to par in games 1 and 2. Although the Dodgers swept that series, I think the Dodgers struggled in games 1 and 2 against the Marlins, pitching-wise. And, on Saturday, I was looking at the game. The Dodgers were dominating. I think they were up like 6-0, and then suddenly the Marlins, who are the worst team in the National League, come back to tie it, and I'm like, wow. And I thought that the Angels bullpen was pretty bad at closing games. But the Dodgers managed to win win Game 2, and then they managed to sweep away the Marlins. And as for the Angels, they struggled a little bit against the Marlins. Yeah, they struggled against Seattle. So, and like I said, Mike Leake almost got the perfect game against the Angels, and then it looked like it was. And then the Game 2 between the Mariners and the Angels. You know, it looked like the Angels were going to fall behind in that one as well, and then David Fletcher and Mike Trout just managed to pump some new life. And also another thing that kind of swung the momentum in that game is that the Mariners had an infield error. Like, there was a ball popped up by, I think it was Luis Rengifo, and then there were two Mariners players about ready to catch it, and then the ball just dropped in between them, and it's like, uh-oh. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I was like, you got to capitalize on this, Angels. And they did, thanks to David Fletcher and Mike Trout. Mike Trout hit a big 3-run homer after David Fletcher got a RBI single, so that was huge by both those two. So as for the Dodgers-Angels series, you know, tonight it's going to be tonight for the Angels-Dodgers game. It's going to be Felix Pena versus Kenta Maeda. For that game, tonight I'm gonna pick the Angels to win that one. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be Jaime Barea against Ross Stripling. I'm going to pick the Dodgers to win tomorrow's game. So I am predicting a split. So I think Felix Pena will get the job done for the Angels tonight. And then, but I don't see Jaime Barea just having a good night against the Dodgers, because if you saw Jaime Barea on Friday against the Mariners, he had one of the most atrocious nights ever, and I don't know what it was. Taylor Cole was actually doing really well through the first 2 innings. He pitched 2 solid innings, only giving up 1 hit and 1 walk, but then I don't know what happened. I guess Ausmus decided to bring in Jaime Barea, and then it just went down. It just went downhill from there. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? And honestly, Taylor Cole has been one of the more impressive pitchers for me. You know, he's had his ups and downs, but Taylor Cole definitely has been one of the more better pitchers for the Angels. Him and Hansel Robles are like the only bright spots to the Angels pitching, and Felix Pena as well. Especially since Felix is 7-3 this year, but for the most part, it's just been a little bit of a lot of forgetfulness for the Angels in terms of pitching. I will give a little bit of a shout out to Griffin Canning for a solid outing on Saturday against the Mariners, but you know, I predict a split between the Angels and Dodgers.
I like it. I'm going to go, you already know me, I'm a diehard man, I can't help it. Let's go, Angels, sweep them this year, I'm with it. I'm just being a fan there. But I really think we can do it. Angels are tough this year.
I think it's doable as well. So, yeah, I think it's doable for the Angels as well, but it's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers at the Chavez Ravine, so we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, I agree. So, alrighty, now we can take our short break, and when we get back, we will go ahead and jump on into some auto sports real quick. IMSA in the Northeast Grand Prix. As I mentioned, Harvick getting his first victory. Kevin Harvick getting his first victory of the season. IndyCar, Joseph Newgarden just rolls on. NHRA, Steve Torrence is just a machine in the machine of the NHRA right now in top fuel. And after that, we'll go ahead and take a look at some WNBA, some NWSL, some MLS, ICC 2019, the International Champions Cup. And then we have Liga MX, a little bit of soccer there. And that'll be it for the day. So with that said, that will be that for that segment there of the Defining Moment. You are listening to The Defining Moment right here on IE Sports Radio with me, your boy Larry B, and Mr. Taron Rodriguez bringing it to you here. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, soccer fans. Pierre Moss here with you. I am the host of the Soccer Scoreboard Show right here on IE Sports Radio each and every week. Games and the best action from around the world of soccer. Not only do we have live scores for you, but we also news and all the latest stories from the soccer world right here on the Soccer Scoreboard Show. Come join us each and every week right here on IE Sports Radio.
Wrestling fans in the podcast world, you are in the right place to listen to the right show, the premier show in the professional wrestling podcasting world. This is Ring Rambling Radio, and you are listening to one of the co-hosts. I am Martin Sandoval, a.k.a. the SoCal Saint, along with my two co-hosts, the lovely Felicia and my boy Matt. Yes, every Saturday or every other Saturday morning, you can listen to us, the premier wrestling team, giving you the premier wrestling news, rumors, updates, event discussions, everything that has to do with professional wrestling. You're in the right place. IE Sports Radio presents Ring Rambling Radio. Don't miss it, because it's just too sweet.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest donors. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
Two Wheels Wednesday is the place to come for all your motorcycle sports news every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio with myself, Matt White. All the latest news, rumours, race reviews and previews from World and British Superbikes and the big one, MotoGP. Two Wheels Wednesday, every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com. Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
From the home plate to the nets, the end zone to the finish line, here nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. Not what it seems with your host Caitlin Seam, bringing you sports like you've never heard before. Catch me Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio. The only question is, are you ready?
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteshow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
My NBA college basketball fans out there, tired of hearing about just the dramatic stuff in the basketball world, tired of hearing about what such and such wore tonight and not about the game? Hey, leave all of that alone, because on Wednesday nights I got this show called Fast Break with Phil Jones here on the IE Sports Radio. And all we talk about is straight basketball, from where it comes down to the NBA, the NCAA, and even the WNBA. I don't discriminate. I give all my NBA, my basketball, whatever you want with sports, to the slam dunks, to the three-pointers, to the teardrops, to the game winners. I'm there. I'm speaking about it. I have a debate. I have my panel. I got a squad that rolls in. And we're going to be talking mad sports. We're going to be talking about the Lakers. We're going to be talking about even the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to be talking about who's the top team out there in the NBA. So, tired of all the drama. Tired of all the... What did he wear today? What kind of shoes he had? Forget all that. Just come over. Fast Break with Phil Jones here on IE Sports Radio every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, y'all. So, yo, tune in. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Vince Wright, the sports governor from the great state of Minnesota, and I want to thank you for listening to Sports Done Right. Make sure you're checking us out on all of our platforms, whether it's Spreaker.com, XSquadAffiliates.com. We're also heard on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, so keep it tuned here. More great things coming from Sports Done Right.
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with lists of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
That's right, y'all. Right here on IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com. Coming back actually for the final segment of today's edition of The Defining Moment. My gosh, I can't believe this. Like, this show gets breezed by. We're already 2 hours in. Can you imagine that, Taryn? We're already at our second hour.
Yeah, well, time flies when you're talking about sports and having fun when you're the both of us.
Absolutely, man. So that's what it's all about. So let's go ahead and jump on over to a little bit of auto sports from this past weekend. So, not a terribly crazy whole bunch, a lot to talk about. I'm just kidding. We have a little bit of IndyCar news. My gosh, again, he does it again. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Newgarden. He wins another one. This is his fourth victory of the season. I mean, really, he's won 13 total races in his career, and this is his fourth of the season. Goes to show you the guys are really having a great year, okay? Pretty good stuff here. IndyCar for this year right now. I'm loving it. I'm loving this. It's just awesome. So much. So many great races, and we're coming down here to the end. I mean, we only have a few more races to go, but just what an incredible stretch for Newgarden this year. Right now, the current standings look something like this, courtesy of the IndyCar app. The top five, we got Will Power. He's only been on the pole twice this year. He has 322 points, and he has no victories. Then we have Scott Dixon with one victory, no poles this year, at 389 points. Simon Pagenaud, he's won a few races this year. I think this is where it's going to become between these three guys right here. Simon Pagenaud, 3 wins and 3 poles at 429 points. And we have Alexander Rossi, he's had 2 victories and 2 poles at 458 points. And then, of course, the man who's won all 4 this year, or who's not won all 4, but who's won 4 races this year. He's only been on the pole once, but he's won 4 races, so it goes to show you something. Battle from the back, and got in with 487 points, man. So, looking good. Justin Newgarden's leading the way, and like I said, the IndyCar season kind of winding down right now. We have not too many races left, but there's a good amount. We have 5 races left, with the next one coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Then in the middle of August, so we got a summer break pretty much. So then close to the middle of August, we got the ABC Supply 500 in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Then we have the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 in Madison, Illinois. Then we have the Grand Prix of Portland coming up on September 1st. Then to finish it off, we have the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey in Monterey, California, and that is it. So I'm really bummed that the GoPro was taken out. I heard that they weren't going to have that race, but I'm bummed out they're not going to be at Sears Point or Infineon or Sonoma Raceway, basically, this year. Whichever they call it now. He's kidding. Had so many name changes in the last 2 decades, but bummed out they're not going to be at Sonoma, but hey, it's cool to see it end a little different this year at Monterey. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, so that's how it ended up for this past weekend. Joseph Newgarden taking the checkered flag, Scott Dixon in second, and in third, James Hinchcliffe, the mayor of Hinchtown, taking third place there. So that's a little bit of IndyCar action. So before I move on to some NASCAR, your thoughts? What you think about Newgarden and this craziness he's got going on this year, Taryn?
So you said James Hinchcliffe finished third. That's actually his first top. If that's the case, then that's his first top 5 finish this year.
Wow.
But Joseph Newgarden is definitely looking strong and dominant. It's just crazy, man. You know, you can't say enough good about him. So, and with 4 wins, and he's been in the top 5 10 times, and leading in points with 487. It's just amazing.
It is. This guy is quite the deal, quite the the big deal right now in IndyCar. So, hats off to him. Moving on over this week to NASCAR. My gosh, how about this? Kevin Harvick, first one of the. How you like that? All right, gotcha. He's doing it, man. Nice victory there for Kevin Harvick. That, of course, puts him in the playoffs. In the NASCAR playoffs, he's in it now, and he's ready to rock and roll. He's actually 3rd overall in the points. Goes to show you that consistency is actually pretty legit. You can get some wins, but if you're consistent, I think he's had a lot of top 5s, top 10s. I don't know if you know those any of those stats, but I mean the guy is certainly. I mean, he's been up there a lot, and hey, consistency does definitely pay off. But this past week in New Hampshire, the Magic Mile they call it. I think it's just because like 1 extra mile. I forgot what it is, or an extra 10th of a mile, I don't know what it is, but it's the 301. I think that's hence the name, but check out the extra mile with Dale Kinsey Jr., Lolita Camello, Caitlin Seam, and Michael Ward every week, and of course Hot Laps done by Matt White, which is the host and founder of Two Wheels Wednesday here on IE Sports Radio, which the bikes are taking a break, y'all. The bikes are taking a break this week. Or for the next 2 weeks, they're on summer break. So no Two Wheels Wednesday, this Wednesday or next Wednesday, and no bikes, World Superbike, British Superbike, or MotoGP for the next couple of weeks. But anyway, so we will go ahead and roll on here with the official race, or the top 5 here of the New Hampshire, of the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. So here we have the top 5. We have Matt Benedetto. Not bad. Started 7th, finishing 5th. Brian Blaney starting 5th, ending 4th. So, hey, at least he got 1 spot up there. Eric Young starting 4th, ending 3rd. So he also jumped up too. Hey, not bad. Denny Hamlin, how about this for a drive? Starting 23rd, finishing 2nd. And, of course, the champ of this race, starting 14th, Kevin Harvick. And he will finish 1st place, once again collecting his first victory of the season, getting his first victory of the season. Great job to him. And there we go. Not a bad job. And here we go with the points. This is all courtesy of the NASCAR app I'm getting my sources from. The official NASCAR app, once again, so I'm getting my sources from here. So, the 2 wildcard racers right now, we have Clint Boyer and Ryan Newman, 16 and 15. From 14 to 11, we have Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, William Byron, and top 10. Well, to 6, we have Alex Bowman, Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Mark Jr. And then we have over here, in the top 5, Brad Keselowski. He's 120 points back. Denny Hamlin with 114 points back. Kevin Harvick with 92 points back. Kyle Busch with 3 points back. Kyle Busch is coming. Rowdy 18 is coming, y'all. And only 3 points ahead with 783 points. Joey Logano, the defending Monster Energy Cup champion from last year. Joey Logano leads it once again with 783 points. We are just heating up, y'all. We're getting into the playoffs are coming up in September, but we got a few races to go before then. But let's go ahead and roll on over to the schedule. Next up, we have, next up is the U.S. Cellular 250. So looking forward to this. Going to be quite the race. And that'll be coming up this next coming weekend at the Iowa Speedway. So it's a 250 lap race, and we shall see. Oops, I'm sorry. It's actually, I'm looking at Xfinity. My apologies there, y'all. My apologies. Actually, next up is Pocono. All right, Pocono. I'd rather watch Iowa. Pocono's so boring. Sorry. But Pocono, we have the Gander RV 400. My apologies to the fans of Pocono Raceway, and my apologies for everybody who thought that was up at Iowa next, and was like, wait, that's Xfinity. I know, my bad. Sorry, guys, I had the wrong one. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But next up is Pocono, the Gander RV 400, coming up this weekend. So, any thoughts there on NASCAR, Taryn?
So, Harvick winning that race was his first, obviously, and then Denny Hamlin finishing second after being 23rd is is very impressive. And those two have catapulted themselves into the top 5 of the Monster Energy standings. As for and believe it or not, Joey Logano is number 1 in the Monster Energy standings, although he has 2 wins and 9 top 5s, while Kyle Busch has 4 wins and 11 top 5s, but he's 3 points behind him. So it's quite interesting to see those two going at it. You know, like a bit of a tug of war. I'm glad it's not just one-sided, but you know, real big shout out to Harvick and Hamlin. You know, those two. I want to say those two catapulted their way up into the top 5. So hats off to them on that one.
Without a doubt, what a nice victory for both those guys. I know it wasn't necessarily a victory for Denny Hamlin, but my gosh, to come up from 23rd to second place, pretty darn good. And as you mentioned here, we do have Kevin Harvick, doing well. So, all right, next up, NHRA. Though IndyCar won't be going to Sonoma this year, bummed out about that. But NHRA is, they're coming up this weekend, y'all, coming up. Going to Sonoma, the Sonoma Gnats, so really excited for that. In the second race of the Western Swing. Who will sweep the Western Swing this year? Will anybody sweep the Western Swing this year? Well, we shall see. But let's start things off here with the results of the Mile High Nats this past weekend, courtesy of NHRA.com. I'm getting my sources from here. So the Dogs Mile High Nats, or the Dogs Mile High Nationals, presented by Pennzoil. We have here, let's see here. All right, so we have this past weekend. How about these winners? Shall we give them all an applause at the start? I mean, well, per driver, let's just go to all of them in a row, and then we'll get to the applause at the end. So, Steve Torrence, nice victory here. Talk about a champ. Gets it done. 0.044 reaction time with a time of 4.044 seconds at 270.21 miles per hour. So it must have been I don't know, the other driver's engine must have blew or something. I mean, something happened there. I don't know what the heck happened there. I was pretty slow in my opinion. But let's take a look at the ladder here, courtesy of NHRA.com, and see, because the other driver, it must have been quite the interesting race there at the end for both these drivers. Yeah, it was a slow race for both of them. My gosh, the engine blew or something in that one. Versus Clay Millican, he would lose. It was actually a close one. 4.044 seconds. Steve Torrence would defeat Clay Millican at 4.126 seconds. So it wasn't much of a. It was still a great race because they were close, but there wasn't much of a deficit. But yeah. 270.21 miles per hour versus 267.64 miles per hour. Yeah, some engines must have blew there, because we were seeing close to 320 miles per hour, 330, somewhere right around there. So that was for top fuel. But regardless, Steve Torrence gets it done again. Next up, Tommy Johnson Jr. will pull this off in funny car. He will defeat Bob Tasca III with a reaction time of 0.092, and his time would be 4.102 at 308 miles per hour, 0.5 or 0.50. Bob Tasca would be at 4.158 at 300. Well, his time 4.158 at 302.14 miles per hour, and then we have here, moving on to some, we had everybody running this week, so really excited about that. Pro Stock, we've got, let's take a look here, Andrew Hines, looking pretty good. We have, let's see, he would defeat Eddie Pro Stock Motorcycle, sorry, I must have went too far. Pro Stock Motorcycle, let's go there first. Andrew Hines with a reaction time of 0.056 at 7, wow, so this must have been a pretty slow race. 7.174. Well, that's kind of typical. Maybe a little bit lower for the bikes in this time. But 7.174 miles was time at 186.67 miles per hour. He would defeat Eddie Krawick, who was at 7.22. His time at 186.38 miles per hour. And then we'll roll on over to Pro Stock. And congratulations to Greg Anderson, another Summit driver here, getting the victory. or a Summit driver, getting the victory over Matt Hartford. Greg Anderson would win with a .032 reaction time at 6.9. His time was 6.950 seconds at a time of with a speed of 196 miles per hour, 0.96. He would defeat Matt Hartford, who was at a time of 965 and a speed of they were identical in the time. Oh my gosh, look at that, is incredible. That was one close race. Look at the reaction time. I have to even get the reaction time for Matt Hartford. Look at this. This is insanely close race. Reaction time. So he actually won in the reaction time. Matt Hartford actually won in the reaction time. Was lower. I think it's lower win. So .032 for Greg Anderson to .030 for Matt Hartford. And the times were, look at this, 6.950 to 6.965. So guess, what is that? 15 tenths of a second closer. And then you have the time speed, they're identical, 196.96 or 196.96 miles per hour. But regardless, what a close race that was. But regardless, Greg Anderson will win this thing. Good job there. So congratulations to all of our Wally winners this past week. All 4 men winning a Wally. And we will get on over to the standings. As of right now, let's take a look here and see who we got. Let's see here. So, we have... Okay, so top fuel right now. It's the top 3. Antron Brown with 839, Brittany Forbes with 852, and Steve Torrance. Not like it's a gigantic avalanche victory right now, looking like Lewis Hamilton in Formula 1 right now. 1,407, so 1,407 points for Steve Torrance. Yeah, he's going off, just saying. In Funny Car, once again, it's courtesy of NHR.com, where I'm getting my sources from. In Funny Car, Robert Height leads it. With 1,159 points. Tommy Johnson Jr. with 1,010 points. And then let's go John Force at 958 points in Funny Car. We'll move on now to Pro Stock. And we have Bo Butner with 704 points, leading the charge. Greg Anderson with 561 points. And Alex Laughlin with 554 points. And then, last but not least, never least, the bikes, of course. Pro Stock Motorcycle, Andrew Hines at 847 points, leading the charge. Eddie Krawick with 734 points. And Hector Arana Jr. at 625 points. So, any thoughts there on the Mile High Nats or the NHRA, Mr. Taryn?
So what I'm seeing is for the top fuel standings is obviously Steve Torrance has a huge lead. He's also clinched his playoff berth. Right behind him is a very close race between Brittany Force, Antron Brown, Doug Kalita, and Clay Milliken. Good to see Brittany Force rising up through the standings as she is now in second place. Shout out to Yorba Linda in Orange County. So good to see Brittany Force getting at, and I believe John Force, who I believe is her dad or something. Yeah, the dad is in third place in Pro Stock. So I guess it does run in the family. So big shouts to them, and big shouts to everyone that's clinched the playoff berth, because there's nothing more relieving than clinching your playoff berth and realizing that you're going to the big dance.
Absolutely, and John Force in Funny Car, by the way. But yes, just total ups to the Force family. So I'm such a big Force family fan. My dad always was. My pops, rest in everlasting peace. And I just continued on with the kids, of course. Courtney Force retiring this year from Funny Car before the season. But Courtney Force, Brittany Force, John Force, and then of course Robert Height, the other driver in Funny Car for John Force for JFR, John Force Racing. I hate to say the other, maybe if he's not family or anything, but still a great driver there. And the Force family, awesome people, all of them. So, okay. And then real quick, IMSA. Big hats off to the Northeast Grand Prix champions this year. Flat down, man. It's PAFs, I believe. PFAFF. I don't know how you pronounce that. But, so we have here looks like Ford doing their thing, and I will go ahead and let's see, take a look at winners here. Let's see who won this thing, and it looks like Westbrook Briscoe first win. WeatherTech Championship race of the season in number 67 Ford GT at Lime Rock Park, and it says PAF, I believe is how you pronounce it, PFAFF Motorsports steals first IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship GTD victory, so a sports car there. I mean, they're all sports car, but with photo finish at Lime Park. At Lime Rock Park. So, anytime you get a photo finish, that's a pretty good race, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, photo finish. There's no better feeling as a fan and as a driver experiencing a photo finish. I mean, if you lose in a photo finish, then it's definitely tough. But photo finishes are definitely exciting because it's basically like down to like two or three drivers finishing first.
Absolutely, and that's always neat to see anybody win in a photo finish, man. So, and like I said, tough for the loss, but certainly an awesome victory for the winners here. So, I hate to butcher that name, PAF, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway. So, with that said, that will be it for IMSA. I don't have the standings on that, and plus we're getting kind of a little short on time, so my apologies. But you want to catch more IMSA, y'all. Not that I'm the biggest IMSA guy, so I'm doing better, trying to do my best at it, or get better at it. Actually, I got to do better than that. So, anyway, catch more auto sports, of course, with Daryl Kinsey Jr., Lolita Camello, Caitlin Seam, and Michael Ward coming up this week. Of also mentioning Hot Laps with with Matt White coming up on the Extra Mile. So that's Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so you can catch them there. So anyway, that'll do it for the auto sports segment of the show. Let's go ahead and jump on to some WNBA real quick, man. We had some and this is all courtesy here. I'm getting my sources of the ESPN Score Center app now. Actually, by the way, I got my IMSA tweets there. Those are from IMSA, so follow IMSA at IMSA. Those are my sources there that I read those tweets from IMSA. So, anyway, so on to the WNBA. Last week we spoke with Kylam, and Darren, we talked about two games, and one team in particular, the Los Angeles Aces. Sue Bird and her Storm.
Vegas Aces.
Oh yeah, it was what a Las Vegas. That's right, Las Vegas Aces. And hey, you know what? Sue Bird and her mighty Storm. I mean, came on down. What a game! I mean, close one it was. 3-point victory for the Storm. They got this thing done 69-66. They will defeat the Las Vegas Aces, and at that point they would go up 12-8 on the season, giving the Las Vegas Aces, their 6th loss of the season. But look at this one woman, man, Liz Cambage. I want to just give her a big shout out. She's the center for the Aces. Look at this, dude. 16 points, 7 for 7 field goal, 2 for 5 FT. I don't know what the heck that is. Gotta get better at
free throws.
Free throws. There you go. We have rebounds. 14 rebounds. 12 defensive rebounds. Okay. And and 2 offensive rebounds. And she also led in assists. 3 assists. Okay. Incredible, man. I mean, incredible. She gets this thing. I mean, big shout out to her, right? I mean, what a game, and what do you think about this game overall?
So, let me just say, Board Girl gets paid. Mm-hmm. To quote Kawhi Leonard. So, this game against the Aces and the Storm was just very, very amazing. The Aces had a chance to take the lead toward the end, but they came up a little short. The Storm made their free throws when it mattered most. So, honestly, big ups to the Storm picking up the win. The Aces are tied for first with the Connecticut Sun for best record in the NBA, but Seattle is right behind them. They have the same number of wins, and they're 1 game behind them. So, and the two actually play, I believe they play tonight, I want to say, Tonight's Tuesday. Yes, the two teams play tonight at Las Vegas, and it's going to be on ESPN2 at 7 p.m. So tonight's game between the Storm and the Aces is definitely a chance for redemption for the Aces, for the Storm to make a statement.
Absolutely, 7 p.m. Pacific time. 7 p.m. Pacific time. 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So it should be a good battle there. And then, of course, the Aces will redeem themselves with a nice victory over the Lynx. Of course, talked about the Lynx last week. Kylam is all for the Lynx, man. He definitely likes their style of basketball. They're a gritty team, man. The Lynx, they beat my Sparks, 2 years ago, I think, in the final. I mean, this is a very tough physical basketball team. The Lynx have always got some kind of a really good team going on there, or a good team going on there. But the Aces will they'll redeem themselves with a nice victory, 79-74 on Sunday. And like I said, now tonight the Storm taking on the Aces again. So that's definitely going to be a game of the week coming up. Any other games you want to how can I skip this? WNBA All-Star Week, by the way, y'all. Team Della Don will be taking on Team Wilson. I think Della Don won last year, so what do you call it? I think her team won last year, but if they didn't, well then, I don't know. I mean, maybe got another chance, I have no idea, but I think they won it last year. But so Team Della Don versus Team Wilson. And that'll be going on this Saturday for the All-Star Game. That'll be at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. But other than that, I think, do we agree, Taryn, that the game to watch is definitely going to be Storm versus Aces?
Yes, definitely. And if I see something else, well, there's also the Mystics and the Lynx, but for right now, it's definitely the Storm and the Aces. It's basically round 2 between those two teams, and I can see this being another close game. And again, the Aces want to tighten their grip for the top spot in the WNBA, but the Storm, they're starting to make their name be known that they are here to play, and they're not ready to pass the torch just yet. Because if I remember correctly, the Storm actually had decent teams in the past.
Absolutely. So the Storm, I mean, last year they're the defending champions. I mean, Sue Bird and her Storm defeated.
Defending champs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not to be taken lightly. Las Vegas may be the new team on the block, but the ladies of the Storm, like I mentioned last year, Sue Bird played out of her mind. I mean, that was one of the most incredible performances ever seen by anybody ever in sports, ever, that I've actually got to see. I mean, she was incredible. I'm such a big Sue Bird fan. Like, seriously, she is amazing, and she's proven to be, in the elite for her team. So let's go and take a quick look here at the roster of the WNBA. So Team Della Don. So Elena Della Don, we have here from the Washington Mystics. She's the 6th All-Star selection and the captain here. So let's take a quick look. I'll just kind of skim through all of them here. But 2nd All-Star selection and captain we have here, it looks like Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces. So wouldn't you look at that? I mean, is that any surprise to you, Taryn, that the other captains in Team Della Don would be from this brand new and very impressive Las Vegas Aces team?
Yeah, and more importantly, this game is going to be played in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Event Center. So to have home court advantage and to possibly be the hometown hero is quite amazing.
It really is. So it's really exciting. So here we go. So all the All-Stars here. Looks like it's going to be the West, but let's take a look here. So 3-time All-Star. Looks like Liz Cambage. We just talked about her right now being quite the elite star, of course, leading in pretty much every category, at least according to the ESPN website here. So Liz Cambage doing her thing, starting. Next up, we have here for the Sparks, Chelsea Gray. Let's go Sparks. She's a starter, 3rd All-Star selection of the Los Angeles Sparks. Then we have Brittany Griner. I mean, come on, man. It wouldn't be an All-Star game without Brittany Griner, right?
Yes, you are definitely right.
I mean, this woman is, I think one of the only players who can dunk the ball in the WNBA. I mean, she is, I'm not saying the others can, but yeah, Brittany Griner, definitely a monster in the WNBA. She is of the Phoenix Mercury. She's the 6th All-Star selection, so hats off to her. Natasha Howard of the Seattle Storm, 1st All-Star selection, so it's her first time. She'll be a starter this year. 2nd All-Star selection for Jonquel Jones of the Connecticut Sun. Next up, 2nd All-Star selection and a starter, Jewel Lloyd of the Seattle Storm. Kayla McBride, Los Angeles Aces, 3rd All-Star selection. Kia Nurse is of the New York Liberty. This is her first year of making it, so her first All-Star selection. She is also a starter. And then we get on to the reserves. Okay, so Duwana, I want to butcher her name, I think it's Duwana, or Dewana, but I want to say Duwana, Bonner, of the Phoenix Mercury, a 3rd All-Star selection. She is a reserve player. We have Tina Charles of the New York Liberty, 7th All-Star selection and a reserve. Nafisha, looks like Collier, I believe, or Collier, of the Minnesota Lynx. This is her first time. Look at this. And would you look at, wow, you look at this. The captain is actually injured. I did not know this. So Asia Wilson is actually injured, and she will be, Nafisha Collier of the Minnesota Lynx will be her replacement for Asia Wilson, which is the captain of this team.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty saddening to hear that she got injured, but, you know, I think the team will rally around her, and hopefully they'll get it done in her place, because, you know, even though this is supposed to be a fun event, I still want to see the competitive battle between these two teams and all of their all-stars.
Oh, don't we all? So I'm all for that. Next up, Diamond DeShields of the Chicago Sky, 1st all-time, or 1st all-star selection. She is a reserve, so she's there. Candace Dupree of the Indiana Fever, 7th all-star selection, is a reserve. Looks like Sylvia Fowles of the Minnesota Lynx, 6th all-star selection. She is a reserve. Looks like Nika I'm gonna butcher her name, but Agumike, I believe, or Aguamike, or Aguamike, I don't know butcher her name, but once again, she is of the Los Angeles Sparks, my team. So 6th, to think I would know her name, but I'm sorry, Nikita. So, or no, sorry, Nika, sorry, that is. But 6th All-Star selection, she is a reserve from the Sparks. Looks like Allie Quigley of the Chicago Sky, 3rd All-Star selection. She is a reserve. Odyssey Sims of the Minnesota Lynx, 1st time, and she is a reserve. She's a first-timer. Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun, 2nd time All-Star. She is a reserve. Christy Tolliver, we have of the Washington Mystics, 3rd All-Star selection, and she's a reserve. Courtney Vandersloot of the Chicago Sky. She is a second All-Star selection and a reserve. And then Erica Wheeler of the Indiana Fever, 1st time All-Star selection, and she is a reserve. And then, of course, the captain here, Elena Deladon, Washington Mystics, 6th All-Star selection, as I mentioned earlier. There we go. So that went all the way around right there. So that is all the ladies. So congratulations to all the ladies who made it this year in the All-Star for WNBA All-Star. Best of luck to all of you. God bless you all. Have a good game. All right, and last but not least, we're coming up here. Let's take a quick look at some NWSL action and some MLS. So, over to the NWSL, this past week, it's no surprise that the game of the week was absolutely, well, there was an upset, but we had a pretty good game on Friday where the Royals took on the Thorns. The Thorns is coming off of a big victory last week over the Pride and a very breathtaking finale there with a scoring like in the last few minutes of stoppage time, or last minute of stoppage time. They would tie the Royals 2-2, or it was a draw 2-2. And then on Saturday, oh my gosh, actually it was on Sunday, oh my goshness, we had an upset. The Red Stars would defeat the Courage at home 2-1. The Red Stars, it wouldn't be too much of an upset because they are number 3, but they're third, but they are not, of course, they're the 3rd place team. And if you defeat a higher team, then I don't care if it's just one ahead. It's considered somewhat of an upset, or at least an upset in my opinion. Big ups there to the Red Stars, getting a big victory there at home over the Courage. So a really good job there. And it looks like all goals were scored. So Vanessa Di Bernardo in the 37th minute and Sam Kerr in the 58th minute for the Red Stars. And it would be Lynn Williams in the 30th minute to score for the Courage their only goal of the game. So, coming up this week, I think we have ourselves a pretty good game right here. I like this one because it's two teams that, we just recently talked about, and they're going to kind of go head-to-head. Well, they are going to go head-to-head, but Saturday, the Royals, they just, tamed that tough Portland team to, even the score with them. And the Courage, coming off of an upset, trying to redeem themselves. They're on the road in Utah. We have the Royals taking on the North Carolina Courage. What do you think about this one, Taryn?
It's going to be a very interesting game and very tough, as the Courage are... I can see the Courage knocking on the door. They're knocking on that door for that top spot. And Portland has now proven themselves as vulnerable, and no team, from 1 through 6, those teams play have a chance to clinch the top spot, clinch the number 1 seed, and can't count out the Houston Dash. As for the Royals Thorns game, that really caught my eye. The Thorns looked like they were going to win this one, but then the Royals managed to get a goal 3 minutes later after the goal in the 87th minute to provide the equalizer, and that's huge right there, because when you're able to hang with the top team, you definitely have yourself. You're definitely a contender yourself. I think that any of these teams can win it all, or be the number one seed. So we'll see how it goes. But mad props to the Utah Royals. I'm definitely going to be interested to see how they face off against the North Carolina Courage. Yeah, that's definitely my game of the week right there. And also the Chicago Red Stars and the Reign are a game to watch for as well. But Utah Royals, let's see how they face the number 2 team in the league.
Absolutely, and the Red Stars, thinking about them, we just talked about them, and the Reigns, number 3 versus number 2. Let's get to the standings real fast, courtesy of the ESPN app. Boys through the whole thing, might as well. Portland Thorns leading the charge right now. They're 6-5-2 with 23 points. Then we have the NC Courage at 6-4-3 with 22 points. Chicago Red Stars at 6-2-5 with 20 points. We have the Reign, Seattle Reign FC at 5-5-2 with 20 points. The Washington Spirit at 5-3-4 with 18 points. Utah at 5-3-4 with 18 points. Houston 4-4-5 with 16 points. Orlando at 3-2-9 with 11 points, and we have Sky Blue FC at 2-2-8 with 8 points. So that's a look there at the NWSL. Let's go ahead and switch gears on over now switch it on over to the MLS. And this past week, there's an elephant in the room, and I think that the elephant's name is El Tráfico. Seriously, Taryn, what in the world, man? Can we just say it one time? Zlatan! Zlatan Ibrahimovic will score not 1, not 2, not 3. Well, actually, no, he did score 3. I'm sorry, I was going for 4, but 3 freaking goals. 1 in the 8th minute, 1 in the 56th minute, and 1 in the 7th minute. Carlos, and they're kind of cool. Carlos Vela would actually score 2. You have a penalty in the 97th minute, so it's in stoppage time, and in the 4th minute with a penalty. But my gosh, so we could have had 2 hat tricks if Vela could have scored another one. It would have been a draw, but I'm very happy that it wasn't. Glad the Galaxy won that one 3-2. Talk about a game. And then on to Sunday, we had another derby, if you can call it the Cascadia Cup, of course, in Cascadia up there. It's not officially named that, but I think I've said before, that's what it's been called. So, Portland, how about the Portland Timbers, man? Getting a victory 2-1 over Seattle on the road. Too bad this wasn't home. Would have had Lumberjack Joey just cutting the lumber, cutting the log there with the chainsaw on the logger, slashing the logger, cutting the log, whatever you want to say. But Portland will defeat Seattle 2-1 on the road. Nice victory there. We'll take a look at the points. Top 5, or let's say top 6 in the Eastern and the Western. So we have here in the Eastern, Philadelphia looking strong. Philadelphia unit 11-6-6 with 39 points. Atlanta at 11-3-8 with 36 points. DC United at 9-8-6 with 35 points. The New York Red Bulls at 10-4-8 with 34 points. Right behind them, the Rivals that beat them a couple weeks ago in the Hudson River Derby. 8-8-3. NYCFC at 8-8-3 with 32 points. And then Montreal hanging out right there with that 6th spot at 9-3-11 with 30 points. But look who's right there behind them, the New Revolution, the Revs at 8-6-8 with 30 points. And right behind them, Toronto FC. They are the defending champs from a couple of years back. Well, not defending, but they're the champs from a couple of years back. Them and Seattle had 2 years in a row where they played at their field. I forgot the name of their field, but up there in Toronto, and hey, I mean they're knocking on the door of the playoffs. They're getting close to the playoffs at 8-5-9 with 29 points, so they're right there. And then in the West, LAFC, LA Galaxy. I mean, really, it's a little bit of a gap. It's a 9-point gap, but still, it's a close one. Really close one here. LAFC at 14-4-3 with 46 points. The LA Galaxy at 12-1-8 with 37 points. Seattle Sounders FC at 10-5-6 with 35 points. Minnesota at 10-4-7 with 34 points. San Jose Earthquakes at 10-4-7 with 34 points. And we have FC Dallas at 9-5-8 with 32 points. And right behind them, we have Real Salt Lake with 30 points. Look how close this is right behind. We have like a 3 teams right here that could possibly become one of these top 6 teams with a good week or two. Real Salt Lake with 30 points. Real Salt Lake at 9-3-9 with 30 points. The Houston Dynamo at 9-3-9 with 30 points. And Portland, look at that, Portland right there, trying to jump up there. Portland Timbers with a nice victory over their rivals last week at 8-4-8 with 28 points. They're right there. So, what do you think, Taryn? Craziness in the MLS right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And big ups to the Galaxy for getting a win over LAFC, and Zlatan, if that's how it's pronounced, it was really on his A game. He really must have had his Wheaties, and that's huge for the Galaxy, considering the Galaxy, it's a rivalry game, and when you win that game, you could possibly build momentum going forward. I mean, obviously, the Galaxy are behind LAFC by 9 points, but if you look from the LA Galaxy down to the Houston Dynamite, or
Dynamo.
Yeah, Dynamo, my bad. Yeah, Dynamo. That's a very close race. Though any of those teams can, with a good week, can actually manage to rise up or can possibly drop down. And this thing is like, it's crazy, and no team is safe, especially not LAFC's. And if LAFC and LA Galaxy meet in the playoffs and they manage to face each other, throw out the records, because anything can happen with those two, especially with it being a rivalry game. And Zlatan, man, that's just amazing. So, and that you talk about the Portland Timbers getting a big victory over the Seattle Sounders. Seattle actually tied the game at the 50th minute, and then Portland didn't panic, and then they scored like a little bit after, like a minute after, and they managed to get the 2-1 victory. So that was huge by them. So we'll see how it goes from here on out.
I like it. Well, absolutely. So coming up this week, some games of the week. LAFC at Atlanta United FC at LAFC is going to be a pretty good game, in my opinion. I am really looking forward to that. We're going to have LA Galaxy up there taking on Portland, the Portland Thorns. The Portland Timbers. That should actually be a pretty good game, too, because Portland's hungry. They're on the warpath right now. LA Galaxy, of course, coming off a big victory. That should be a pretty good battle there. Also, Seattle taking on a team that's knocking on the door, trying to get on the playoffs right now, on the playoff hunt. Seattle taking on Houston. In Houston, that should be a pretty good game. That's on Saturday. And that is it, because after that, it's the All-Star break. So WNBA is in their All-Star break. So is the MLS. They'll be taking on this year Atletico Madrid. Last year they took on Real Madrid. This year they'll be taking on Atletico Madrid. So the MLS All-Stars, who, will they win it? Hopefully they will this year. But with that said, any games of the week for you this week?
So looking at the games, definitely can see LAFC, Atlanta United. New York Red Bulls in Columbus looks a little interesting thinking about it. Oh, nope, never mind. Not that one. Chicago and DC United looks good as well. But my game of the week is definitely LAFC, Atlanta United. But I'll be checking out some of the soccer action as the days go by.
Yeah,
I'll be keeping an eye on LAFC.
Oh, it's going to be legit. So also that, take a little bit of a look here at Liga MX. It started last week. First game of the season was on last Friday. Big out the Tijuana, Los Cholos, if you will. They went ahead and won this thing. In the first victory, they defeated Puebla last week. Let's see, what was it? 3-1. So a big victory there in the Apertura 2019. So hats off to Tijuana. And so big ups to them. More Liga MX coming your way this week as, once again, the Apertura 2019 is officially underway. So we will check that out coming up in weeks coming. This weekend, Morelia taking on Atlas. And Veracruz taking on Pachuca. That'll be on Saturday. León taking on América. Cruz Azul taking on Toluca. Tijuana taking on Querétaro on Saturday. And then on Sunday, quite the slate of games. UNAM, Las Pumas taking on Necaxa. That's my team right there. We have, I don't know what this is, but AT San Luis. I don't know what the AT is, but it might be Atletico. They must have been relegated. I don't know who they are. They must have been from the lower league. But they'll be taking on Monterrey. Los Rayados. Then we'll see Santos taking on Juarez, which is another team that must have been relegated. We have Guadalajara, Las Chivas taking on UANL, which is and I think that's the last game, of course. Yes, Guadalajara taking on Las Tigres, of course. The UANL, Las Tigres. So anyway, that is that for some soccer. Well, almost it. And then we're going to go into the International Champions League. And my gosh, this has been incredible. The table is just so cool as of right now. I'm loving this table. This is incredible. We've seen some big games so far in the International Champions League, and I mean, really, we've seen some good games. Alright, so we started off, let's see here, where did we begin? I think it was last week or the week before that we were getting underway. So, alrighty, so it was, you know what, I'm just going to go on over to my ESPN FC app. Check that app out, really cool app. Super duper diehard fans. Soccer fans definitely enjoy this here. I know I do. The International Champions League is such a cool. I know it's just a glorified preseason tournament, or glorified preseason, if you will, but I don't care. I really like it. So, the ICC. So, starting last week, it all started. Let's see, when did it begin? Last Tuesday, July 16th. So, we had Fiorentina defeating Guadalajara, Las Chivas, 2-1. Arsenal defeating Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, 2-1. We had Manchester United defeating Inter Milan, which is my team, so great job, Inter. Just kidding. But good job by Manchester United. Benfica defeating Guadalajara 3-0. Arsenal defeating Fiorentina 3-0. Bayern Munich defeating Real Madrid 3-1. And then Tottenham Hotspur defeating Juventus 3-2. So that was all this past weekend. Coming up for this week, coming up tomorrow. Actually, today, as a matter of fact, Real Madrid taking on Arsenal, Guadalajara taking on Atletico Madrid, and then Bayern Munich taking on AC Milan for tomorrow. This is a good one, y'all. Serie A action right here. Juventus taking on Inter Milan. Forza, and so excited for that. And then Fiorentina taking on Benfica. For that, we have Tottenham Hotspur taking on Manchester United, Real Madrid taking on Atletico Madrid right there. A little bet, the Madrid derby, if you will. Or El Clásico, I think that's what they call it over there. A big-time game. Well, it's not El Clásico, I'm sorry. I messed that up. That is the Madrid Derby. I'm sorry, Madrid Derby. El Clásico, of course, is, or El Super Clásico, what do you want to call it, is Barcelona and Real Madrid, so sorry about that. Everybody, soccer fans that are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what he's talking about, I'm sorry. But that's coming up. AC Milan taking on Benfica. Also, Manchester United taking on AC Milan, Tottenham Hotspur taking on Inter Milan, and Atletico Madrid taking on Juventus. So those are the upcoming games. I believe that's all of them, and if not, we'll see. But the current table right now, getting this courtesy of the ESPN FC app, right now, So leading with 6 points, Arsenal at 2-0-0. Benfica second place at 1-0-0 with 3 points. Bayern Munich at 1-0-1 with 3 points. Tottenham Hotspur at 1-0-0 with 3 points. Manchester United at 1-0-0 with 3 points. Fiorentina at 1-0-1 with 3 points. Atletico Madrid at 0-0-0 with 0 points yet. They're yet to play, as well as AC Milan. They're yet to play at 0-0-0 with 0 points. Juventus at 0-0-1 with 0 points. Inter Milan at 0-0-1 with 0 points. Real Madrid at 0-0-1 with 0 points, and Guadalajara at 0-0-2 with 0 points. So, any thoughts there on the ICC 2019, Darren?
Well, I'm definitely going to be checking out the Tottenham-Manchester United game. Other than that, it's pretty early, so we'll see what happens as the season progresses. But, Tottenham-Manchester United is a matchup I'm definitely looking forward to. Both teams have one win, We'll have to see on which teams break the ice.
I am so excited for this, man. It's going to be quite the battle for coming up in the ICC. But Aaron, can you imagine? I mean, I know it's just like a glorified once again preseason tournament, but it's always fun to see these teams who hardly ever play each other, like ever, unless it's like the ICC or something like that, go head to head. But Darren, can you believe this, man? We are literally 15 minutes away from the whole 3 hours. We almost went the distance, man.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like I said, time flies when you're having fun and talking sports, and both of us love talking sports. We originally had this for 2 hours, but, as long as the people are happy, we're happy. So
that's about it, man. So with that said, man, that's going to conclude today's show. Any last words, Taryn, before we're out here for the day? Well, I know I'm coming back in 15 minutes, and you'll be back on tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern for Bases Loaded with H-Town Blake Henley, and, of course, Mr. Brandon Buckingham. But any last words for the fans here until next week?
Keep supporting IE Sports Radio. Keep supporting all of our shows. It definitely helps us, and it definitely means a lot to us that you're tuning in and listening. If you are tuning in and you're listening to this show, thank you very much. Larry and I both appreciate it. Follow us on all the platforms, whether it's like Twitter, Instagram, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. Definitely do your part to support IE Sports Radio, because all of us here at IE Sports Radio, we definitely appreciate it if you did.
Without a doubt, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I appreciate the heck out of that, Mr. Terran. So with that said, y'all, cue the music! Because it's that time, y'all. We're out of here. For myself, your boy Larry B. You can follow me at the THE_LB53. Remember, you can follow us all as a whole on Twitter at IE Sports Radio, on Instagram at IE Sports Radio, on Facebook, find us, give us a like. We certainly like that IE Sports Radio. And, of course, check us out on IESportsRadio.com. As I always say, all glory to the man above, all glory to God. Without him, nothing is possible, of course. Shout out to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And to all the listeners out there who make this happen, y'all. We couldn't appreciate y'all enough. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And we are going to rock and roll. And that is that. So, with that said, we'll see you next day. Sorry for today being a little bit of delay, but we'll see you next Monday, y'all. That's right. Right back at it. 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, y'all. With that said, for Taryn Rodriguez, for myself, Larry B., we will see you next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless. Awesome.